Chapter 430. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. Water began to flood everywhere. A few provinces were almost completely covered by the ocean. Even if there were mountains, it was useless. Those who hid in the mountains did not have to worry about being washed away by the water. However, the mountains would slide. No matter how much vegetation there was on the mountains, as long as the soil was saturated, something would happen. The valleys in the mountains were also filled with water. The heavy rain was still falling. From time to time, people would float by with a board. Qin province was flooded, Sumaozhou was flooded, Lian province was flooded, Shaanxi province was not far away, and Feng province was also in the area where the heavy rain fell. The typhoon landed on Luzhou. The people who had long been prepared moved to the valleys. The big ships were also far away. Only one ship was slightly slower and was stranded. The typhoon circled around Luzhou's bay and gradually dissipated. An old man who knew how to look at the sky told Zhang Zhong that it was just one dragon. There were no other dragons. Zhang Zhong did not care about the dragons anymore. He sent out countless small boats to pick up the people who floated over from the other 2 counties and the neighboring provinces. The people who lived by the sea might not be good in other aspects, but they had absolutely no problem in swimming. Those who went to the sea to catch big fish, and those who lived near the sea, all knew how to swim. Children of 4 or 5 years old dared to dive into the water to find things. All of them knew what to do when the flood came. Even those who were good at swimming did not swim on their own. Usually, they would find something floating and hold on to it. Ninghai and Huaqing counties had been notified. They made their own wooden rafts and put their belongings on them. However, they did not tear down their houses or prepare so many ropes. When the flood came, families paddled the rafts toward the state capital. This was their only hope. Father, mother, can our family still survive? Why don't we go up the mountain? It's higher there. The further we go, the lower it gets. A little boy of 8 or 9 years old was holding his 3-year-old sister in his arms. He wiped the rain off his face and held a big leaf in one hand to block the rain for his sister. He said to his parents, who were paddling with all their might, Luo, people died on the mountain too. What if we go up the mountain and come down later? What if the new good official doesn't recognize us? Carry Bei, we're going to find the official. The father used all his strength to row the wooden raft, enduring the onslaught of the rain. His son said. The mother also helped to row, crying as she rowed. Her home was gone, and her land was gone. She didn't know how she was going to live the rest of her life. The only thing she was thankful for was that the high-ranking official had sent the news early and returned the wooden raft. Her family was fine. The little boy nodded as if he understood and said to his 3-year-old sister, Bei, we'll have something good to eat in a while. The little girl, who was 3 years old, could not understand the pain of the adults. She reached out to touch the leaf that was blocking the rain and called out happily. After a while, the little girl was no longer so excited. She pursed her lips and said that she was hungry. The boy took a bite of a steamed bun, chewed it in his mouth, spat it out, and put it into the girl's mouth. Be good, Bei. Eat quickly. You won't be hungry after eating. When we get there, we'll have hot soup to drink. The girl ate half a steamed bun and was finally full. She curled up in her brother's arms and fell asleep. The boy thought for a while and put away the other half of the steamed bun. The family had brought food this time, but it was all raw. There were only a few dry, steamed buns. It was better to leave them for his sister. He could eat the raw ones. The family of 4 sat on the wooden raft and floated in the direction of the state capital. As they floated, a large tree that had been washed down slanted and crashed into them. The couple tried to avoid it. In the end, they dodged the tree above the surface of the water, but the branches under the water hit the side of the wooden raft. With a cracking sound, the hemp rope tied to the wooden raft could no longer withstand such a large force. 3 of the ropes snapped in succession. Husband, you take Luo and go. I'll carry Bei and follow behind. When the woman saw that the wooden raft had cracked, she shouted at her husband and was about to carry the little girl. The man was good at swimming, and so was Luo Luo. If something happened to the family, they would have to leave behind descendants. The boy was their descendant. The woman was already prepared to give up. I can't leave my sister behind. I know how to tread water. Mother, the three of us will take turns treading water and carrying the wooden raft. We can't leave our sister behind, but we can't be without our mother. The boy immediately understood what his mother meant. He hugged his sister tightly and refused to hand her over no matter what. Luo Luo, it's useless. The water is so big. You can't turn around with the wooden raft. You'll be washed into the sea. Follow your father. The two of you can cross. The mother was also reluctant, but she had to give up at this time. Don't say any more. Row. The water hasn't scattered yet. I'll carry her. At this time, the man climbed onto the wooden raft. He used his hand to grab a piece of wood and his leg to clamp another piece of wood so that the wooden raft wouldn't scatter completely. However, every time the water hit, the wood would squeeze against each other, causing the man to feel pain. The woman nodded with tears flowing down her face. She said to the boy, "Put Bay down and row with me. We're almost there." The boy hesitated for a moment. He took off his pants and put his sister on his pants while naked. He then put the leaf on his sister's body. Only then did he pick up his father's wooden raft and row with all his strength on the other side. The wooden raft moved forward for another quarter of an hour. The man's feet and legs were already bleeding from the friction. The fingernail on his left hand was accidentally squeezed by 2 pieces of wood. 3 fingernails fell off and blood seeped out. Just as the woman was about to grab her daughter and jump down in despair, a few black spots suddenly appeared in the water in front of them. The black spots were moving very fast, and at the same time, they were accompanied by splashes of water. While the woman was in a daze, the black spots were already getting closer. When she looked carefully, she found that they were actually 6 people's heads that occasionally popped out of the water and then sank back down. The splashes of water were also caused by the 6 people swimming. The boy also saw it and was stunned. He was a good swimmer and could step on water, but he definitely couldn't swim that fast. The 6 people's movements were almost the same. They seemed to be wearing black clothes, and even their heads were covered. Their heads sank and floated for a large distance. When they sank, their heads dove into the water. When they floated, their heads moved left and right. When they didn't encounter waves, their 2 hands alternated in front of them. When they encountered waves, they immediately changed their movements. Their 2 hands should be stretched forward and just happen to pass through the waves. The 6 people swam to the front of the wooden raft. One of them took out a rope from the bag in his arms and said to the person on the wooden raft, "Don't be afraid. We are the new provincial governor. We are the guards of a good official. We have been ordered to provide support everywhere. Get up, don't lie down." As the man spoke, the 6 people surrounded the wooden raft. One of them climbed up and began to tie the wooden raft again. The man was already out of strength. He lay there on his back and kept saying thank you. The woman cried and carried the girl up. The boy looked at the 6 people with admiration. He asked the person who tied the rope, "What happened to you guys just now? How did you swim so fast?" "We were using the most standard freestyle and butterfly swimming. Freestyle swimming is fast, and butterfly swimming is easy to pass through the waves. We practiced it regularly. This person was easy to talk to," he explained to the boy while tying the rope. The boy didn't know anything about swimming. He only knew that the 6 people were really not slow. He asked curiously, "You guys are from the Vigorous Sprout Protection Team, right? I heard that 56 people jumped off a very high ship a few days ago and nothing happened to them. They can swim in the water for a few hours without getting tired. Is this how you guys swim? Boy, you are smart. We are from the Vigorous Sprout Protection Team. When it comes to swimming, other than some local people here, no one can compare to us. Master was afraid that something would happen, so he sent us out. You guys are the 12th wooden raft to be saved. Usually when we train, we have to learn a few standard swimming postures, but we don't usually do that. Everyone has their own comfortable swimming postures. Today is not the time to show off. We can only use the most standard swimming postures. It takes more effort, but it is the fastest. This person's movements were very fast. In just a few sentences, there was only one wooden raft left. He tied it while talking to the boy. The boy looked at the 6 people with serious faces. He didn't feel scared at all. Instead, he was very calm. The 6 people's cold and handsome expressions made people know that they were very resolute. It seemed that no difficulty could beat them. Big brother, can I join the vigorous sprout protection team? I want to be like you guys, rushing from so far and so fast to save people. You guys are wearing beautiful clothes. The boy asked with a look of yearning. The person from the protection team tied the wood and buckled it. He smiled at the boy and said, "It's not that easy to enter. First, you have to sign a death contract. Then you have to undergo training. That kind of pain is unimaginable. Sometimes you even want to die, but you can't. If you want to enter, you have to learn how to read first. Do you know how to read? Can't read?" The boy shook his head regretfully. He didn't expect that these people were not only good at swimming and looked good, but they were also literate. Then you have to learn well. First, learn how to read and write. Then, you can participate in the training. When you are used to the hardship, you will become better. This person encouraged the boy. At the same time, he thought of his own training. He still hadn't finished training. It was not a normal kind of hardship. Then, big brother, are you the people who can bear the hardship the most? Compared to those 2 people, we are still far behind. If those 2 people fell into the water at the place just now, there is no need for anyone to save them. They can easily go back. If they are willing, they can stay for a few more days. Their food can be taken care of. This guard thought of the young master and young lady. He was one of the people who accompanied the 2 people into the old man's house. Thinking of the 2 little ancestors' reaction and ruthlessness, he couldn't help but tremble. The boy nodded and didn't say anything. Chapter 27. The wooden raft can also contribute. Corrected 5. The man lying on the raft spoke at this time. You are indeed worthy of being a good official's personal guard. You are really good. That small boat in front is yours, right? There's also a person on it holding something and looking around. You guys don't look tired at all after swimming so far. Big brother is right. We are not tired. We are already used to it. This is nothing. Our usual training is much farther than this. Moreover, we have to carry weights. Big brother, don't move. Let me take a look at your injuries. The person on the raft came over and said to the man. At this time, the sound of a whistle came from the other side. 1 long, 1 short, 1 long, 2 short. The 5 people around the raft immediately left the raft and swam in another direction. They were still switching between freestyle and butterfly swimming, and they were still as fast as before. Big brother, don't worry about them. We found someone in danger again. Don't worry, they won't die. As long as they are still alive, when the people on the boat see them, they can be saved. Even if they drown, they can be saved in time. As the man spoke, he took out things from the small bag at his waist one by one. Finally, he took out a piece of oilcloth and said to the boy, "Come here and help me hold it. Hold it above my hand. Don't hold it blindly. It won't be easy to treat if it gets infected." The bodyguard first took out a needle and wiped the needle with an alcohol swab. He then wiped the place where the needle was to be inserted and gently inserted the needle into the wound. With a push from both sides, he opened up the extravasated blood and squeezed the extravasated blood out. Then he cleaned up the other wounds and bandaged the 3 fingernails that had fallen out. After all these were done, there was only one place left. There was a 2-inch long cut on the calf by the wood. The wound was so deep that the bone could almost be seen. The bodyguard dipped the cotton pad in alcohol and said to the man, "This is my own first aid kit. In order to keep you awake at all times, there is no anesthetic in it. Bear with it and bite it." As he spoke, the guard broke off a piece of wood and stuffed it into the man's mouth for him to bite on. Then he rubbed the cotton wool dipped in alcohol on the wound. Even though the man was biting on the wood, he still cried out, tears flowing down his cheeks. "It'll be over soon." "What's this wound?" You didn't see someone who dislocated his own shoulder and put it back with his own body. That person's expression didn't change at all. He was still attacking when his shoulder was dislocated. "What's wrong with rubbing alcohol?" "I'm going to stitch it up later." "Don't make a sound again. I'll treat you as a woman." "You're not even a woman." The bodyguard listened to the man's shout and frowned. He carefully rubbed the dirty thing out of the wound and said. He remembered the short battle between the young master and the old man. The young master used the detoxification technique. The body connected to the young lady behind the iron bridge turned 180 degrees, and the sound made by the wrist bearing the force. Then he thought about how the two of them could still continue to attack at that time. How much pain did they have to endure? In the end, the two of them didn't have any additional expression at all. They could smile after a little recovery. The man didn't know who the bodyguard was talking about. He didn't expect that the bodyguard would be so respectful to the two children, not only because of their identity, but also because of their strength. But this man was still a man in front of his family. He held on. Even when the bodyguard sealed the needle for him, he didn't make a sound. He bit the piece of wood in his mouth, and his face was pale. He held on. After treating the man, the bodyguard didn't stay any longer. He said to the family, "Continue forward. There will be a patrol boat in front to guide you. In less than 3 hours, you'll be safe. There are places to eat, drink, and sleep. There are also doctors." After saying that, the bodyguard sealed his bag again. His body tilted, and he fell into the water with a splash. "Father, the good official is so amazing. The bodyguards can save us." "Father, are you still in pain?" "This time, my sister is finally safe." The boy was happy. He paddled and said to his father. The head of the family also breathed a sigh of relief. It was painful. It had always been painful. But he could hold on. There was hope. No matter how painful it was, he was not afraid. He looked at his son with relief and said, "Those people are not ordinary bodyguards. Did you see their bodies in the water? Their chests were above the water. It wasn't done deliberately. They just stepped on the water like that. These people should be the good officials' elites. The good officials sent them out, so there must be fewer bodyguards around him. It's all our fault. We clearly sent people to tell us, but when we were making the raft, we didn't think about what we would encounter." The boy didn't think too much. When he heard his father say that the good official sent out his elites, he began to worry about the good official. If someone was up to no good, who would protect him? Thinking of this, the boy paddled harder, forcing his mother to paddle harder as well. While paddling, the boy said, "When I get there, I will stand by the good official's side. If anyone dares to hurt him, I will fight to the death." 6 hours was not a long time, but after 4 hours, they discovered that the sky was already dark and the rain was still falling. The family of 4 was still rowing with all their might on the wooden raft. Fortunately, from time to time, a boat with a lantern would appear in front of them. When they reached another boat, the family rowed the raft over. The boy asked the people on the boat, "How much more time do we have? I'm so tired." "You'll need more than an hour to paddle. Are you hungry? Come, have some hot soup." There was only one person on the boat with a lantern pointing the way. She was looking at the charcoal stove. When she was talking to the boy, her eyes were looking at the man lying on the bed. 3 bowls of pork and ginger congee were served. A hook was released from the boat and hooked onto the raft. 3 bowls, 1 for each of the 2 adults. 1 bowl for each of the 2 children was enough. The 2 adults didn't care. The boy's bowl was given a spoon. "Little sister, it's time to eat." The boy carried his sister over and used the spoon to scoop up some congee. He blew on it for a while and licked it with his tongue. When he felt that it was not hot anymore, he brought it to his sister's mouth. The girl was very calm the whole way. She didn't cry or make a fuss. When she woke up, she opened her eyes and blinked. Now that there was something to eat, She smiled at her brother and put the spoon in her mouth. She took a sip, and the spoon was clean. She waved her small arms and said, "It's delicious. Big brother, eat. This little one is very interesting. Come, give this candy to the little one." The person on the boat looked at the brother and sister and took out a piece of candy and put it in the boy's hand. The boy fed his sister a dozen spoons of candy before he started to eat. He put the candy in his sister's mouth. The girl seemed to know how to eat candy. She didn't swallow it, but kept it in her mouth. She moved it back and forth between her cheeks. She blinked her big eyes and was curious about everything. She didn't even notice that saliva was flowing out of the corner of her mouth. The wooden raft moved forward again. It was said that it would take more than an hour, but in fact, it only took half an hour. The family saw the scenery on the other side. The boy was like his sister. He opened his mouth and let the saliva flow out. After a while, he rubbed his arm and pointed to the other side and said, "That's the state capitol? It's full of lanterns." The two parents were also confused. There were countless lanterns in front of them, but that wasn't the most important thing. What made them stunned was that under the illumination of these lanterns, there was actually an endless stretch of flat land made of wooden rafts. There were wooden rafts next to each other, and people were walking back and forth on them. These connected wooden rafts moved with the waves, but they definitely wouldn't break. How many wooden rafts were needed to make such a flat land? In the middle of the wooden rafts was a big boat. The boat was also brightly lit. What made the family most shocked was that there were sheds on the wooden rafts. "Father, did we come to the wrong place? How could it be like this? Could it be that this is a piece of land made by the Sea Dragon King?" The boy finally wiped off his saliva and said to his father. The father was indeed dumbfounded. This scene was a bit too big. It made people look like a piece of undulating land. A big flag with cute seedlings painted on it was propped on the big boat. It made people know that this was the new good official's property. Row over there. The good official is indeed not ordinary. He actually made a piece of land here. All right, don't worry. No matter how big the flood is, it won't be able to break the connected wooden rafts. The father said to his son and daughter-in-law. Finally, he was relieved and fainted. "Father, what's wrong?" "Mother, hurry up and row. There will be a doctor when we get there." The boy looked at his father and rowed with all his might. Without waiting for them to row to the place, a patrol boat came over and pulled their wooden raft over. When the wooden raft was connected to the land, the doctor rushed over first and began to treat them. The boy carried his sister and mother and was brought to a stable place. This wooden raft was also connected and repaired by someone, making this piece of land a little bigger. At this time, there was no need for Zhang Zhong to appear. There were many people trying to redeem themselves by doing good deeds. Registrar Yin was one of them. When he saw people coming over, he quickly came forward and said to Luo Luo's mother, "Madam, did you come here alone with 2 children?" "Our Registrar Yin, you are." The woman was so scared that she took 2 steps back and looked at the registrar in front of her in disbelief. "You know me? Then you must be from Ninghai County. Don't be afraid. With the provincial governor here, you will have a good life in the future. This time, it's just a little water. The governor has already made preparations. Ninghai County, follow me. I will arrange a place for you to rest. Look at this little child. How nice, looking at me without blinking." Registrar Yin didn't dare to show off his power at this time. It would be easy for him to be shot dead. He smiled and said to the family. Chapter 431. Registrar Yin's expression changed. Just as he was about to speak, he didn't expect the boy's mother to help him. She slapped the boy's head and scolded, "Kid, you don't know any better. Why are you telling the truth?" Before the boy could do anything, his sister started crying. She called her brother and reached out her little hands to rub her brother's head. Registrar Yin wanted to jump into the water and suffocate to death, but he knew that as long as he jumped, he would be shot to death by the crossbow in the air. He couldn't get angry and redeem himself, who asked him to accept 45 strings of coins. He used to think that it was a lot and couldn't earn that much in a few years. But now, he regretted it very much. 45 strings of coins was nothing. The provincial governor had already said that the first 100 people who did a good job in the disaster relief this time would be given 100 strings of cash each, provided that the people who had made contributions to atone for their crimes were excluded. People like them had no money at all. They could either do a good job or die. There was no third choice. Those who didn't believe that the provincial governor dared to do this had already been dyed in blood. The remaining people were those who believed that the provincial governor dared to kill their people. When people were killed, there was no trial, no evidence, and no one cared what time it was. It was very simple. You could move the crossbow and say that they were drowned. No one pursued, and no one dared to. The girl cried and stopped. Then she giggled and opened her arms. Zhang Zhong, his son, and daughter-in-law were walking around. They looked around and happened to see this girl. Zhang Xiaobao liked children. When he saw that this girl was so cute when she cried, he opened his arms and welcomed her. The girl really gave him face. When she saw Zhang Xiaobao, she smiled and also opened her arms to let him hug her. Aya, you're really heavy. What's your name? How old are you? Zhang Xiaobao hugged the girl and asked happily. In the end, before the boy and mother could say anything, the girl stretched out 3 fingers and said, Bebe, 3 years old. Brother, 8 years old. The first one was referring to herself, and the second one was pointing to the boy. This was nothing. At least, Zhang Zhong could accept that his son and daughter-in-law were better than this. But when the girl pointed at Registrar Een, she could kill. Bad waff. The girl only said one word and pointed at Registrar Een. Then she burst into tears. Registrar Een was stunned for a moment before he knelt down with a thud. Little young master, I'm so resentful. I didn't do anything to them. I was laughing the whole time. Young master, don't kill me. I really didn't do anything. I was just picking up the people from our county. I already know that I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. I only took 45 strings of coins. I really didn't do anything bad. Young master, please spare me. Registrar Een was most afraid of Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao was different from other people when he killed people. Other people were either cold, angry, or smiling. Zhang Xiaobao's expression when he killed people was pure and cute. When the deputy magistrate of Huaqing County was killed, it was Zhang Xiaobao who did it personally. That scene was unforgettable for many people. Zhang Xiaobao held a crossbow with great effort and pointed the arrow at one of the deputy magistrate's eyes. He said, If you feel pain, tell me. It's my first time using it, so it's not very accurate. I'll be fine after practicing more in the future. There wasn't any killing intent in the deputy magistrate's eyes. He was just curious. In the end, the crossbow went in through the deputy magistrate's eyes and came out from the deputy magistrate's temple. The deputy magistrate didn't die. Zhang Xiaobao held another crossbow with great effort and pointed it at the deputy magistrate's other eye. He said innocently, I moved just now. It's a lie. This time I won't move. Tell me if you feel pain. In the end, this crossbow also missed. In the end, the deputy magistrate didn't know whether he bled to death or died of pain. Anyway, he didn't die a quick death. Who wouldn't be afraid of such a child? The deputy magistrate's death wasn't unjust at all. He once raped a woman in the county. This time, he met her and wanted to do something with her. In the end, the woman didn't agree, and he slapped her. With this one slap, everything was revealed. Because of this, Wang Wan was angry with Zhang Xiaobao for a long time. She said that he made the deputy magistrate die too quickly. Zhang Xiaobao sincerely apologized and said that the next time he met the deputy magistrate, it would be difficult for him to die even if he wanted to. In the face of such a person, Registrar Een would be lying if he said that he wasn't afraid. Zhang Xiaobao smiled innocently. He looked at the trembling Registrar Een and asked, Let this little girl give you 2 big slaps, okay? Okay. Hit her with all your strength. Thank you, little young master. I will remember your kindness for life. Registrar Ian didn't care about whether it was embarrassing or not. He was overjoyed. Not to mention that the little girl had grown up. Even her mother would do. It was better than the little young master doing it himself. Bei Bei hit him. He's a bad guy. Zhang Xiaobao carried Bei Bei in front of Registrar Ian and taught him. Registrar Ian moved his face closer to Bei Bei. Bad guy hit. Bei Bei waved her small hands and hit Registrar Yin's head twice. She didn't know how to hit the face at all. She stretched out her hands and smiled at Zhang Zhong, saying, "Hug, hug." Zhang Zhong also liked children. He took Bei Bei over and kissed her hard. Unexpectedly, Bei Bei took the initiative to kiss Zhang Zhong again. She giggled. The surrounding commoners looked at Zhang Zhong with even more respect. Their thoughts were simple. The little girl didn't know anything, but they could tell who was good and who was bad from the little girl's attitude. The little girl's heart was the purest. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't expect Bei Bei to be like this. Zhang Xiaobao was actually more depressed. He said to Wang Wan, "I was hoping to have a little sister called Bei Bei in the future. I'm Xiaobao and she's Wang Wan. Together, we're a treasure. There are many people with the same name. You're surnamed Zhang, so is everyone else surnamed Gongchang? I've never seen someone like you. Look, Bei Bei is so cute." Wang Wan didn't agree with Zhang Xiaobao this time. She strongly objected and pointed at Bei Bei for Zhang Xiaobao to see. At this moment, Bei Bei kissed Zhang Zhong again. She pouted and pointed in the direction she came from. It hurts. Daddy hurts." Zhang Xiaobao was stunned. He suspected that Bei Bei was someone who came from another place like him and Wang Wan. However, he felt that it wasn't the case. Unless this person was more powerful than him and Wang Wan, and hid more deeply. What kind of person could she be? Wang Wan also stared at her carefully. In the end, she said, "No, she's just born intelligent. She'll gradually forget about it after she's 5 or 6 years old." Why would she gradually forget? Is it because of the development of her brain cells? Zhang Xiaobao suddenly thought of something very important. He still remembered when he was carried to the orphanage. Other people were different from him and would always forget. He could even remember every single one of his brothers and sisters in the orphanage. Wang Wan thought for a moment. She didn't walk in that direction with Zhang Zhong. He was just an injured person. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, "That should be the case, right? According to scientific theory, human cells also undergo metabolism. Then why can a 100-year-old person remember things that happened when she was in her teens? Could it be that she didn't undergo metabolism at this time?" Zhang Xiaobao asked. "What are you trying to say? Theology?" Wang Wan's education made her reject this kind of theory. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head and said, "No, what I want to say is science. In the narrow sense of science, theology will appear, but in the broad sense of science, there is no such thing. We just don't understand. I think the process of searching for the truth is science, not after discovering something." Then are you searching or discovering? Wang Wan felt a little cold from Zhang Xiaobao's words. You and I are both experiencing. We are neither searching nor discovering. Do you think our arrival is science or theology? If it's theology, where is God? If it's science, how can it be explained in the narrow sense of science? The simplest question is, where is the edge of the universe? You don't know, right? But we still exist and are still researching. After researching and researching, one by one, the people who invented the definition have all become religious and believe in God. What does this mean? Zhang Xiaobao began to analyze things in this world for the first time. Wang Wan was also confused and muttered, "What does this mean? What does this mean? Could it be the existence of God?" Wrong. It shows that our science is not advanced enough. Some people deliberately limited science. What our science couldn't understand back then, some people attributed it to superstition. According to me, there is no materialism, nor is there idealism. There is only selfishness. Or it can be said that materialism should not be separated from idealism. Idealism is also a material. In the process of idealism, there is the transmission of electricity and the metabolism of brain cells. As long as there is this, how can it be idealism? When materialism separated idealism, it was no longer materialistic. Zhang Xiaobao thought deeper and deeper. He put all his attention on this. He really wanted to know how he had come here. At this time, Wang Wan said, since everything is real, we have to cherish the real things. Since everything is fake, let's treat the dream as reality. At least there's you and me. Whether it's science or superstition, I pinch you and you hurt. In this material world, what should you do now? Wrong positioning. I don't want to position science and superstition. I want to position why babies don't have a sense of height, just like sleepwalkers. Why babies forget some things when they grow up. Why can babies be preserved for a period of time after leaving the mother's body? Why can a placenta be used as medicine? Why can umbilical cord blood help treat leukemia? What exactly happened to us when we came out of the mother's body? Don't be afraid. What I want to say is that children have a very strong memory before they are sensible. Take vocabulary, for example. I don't know how good you are when you learn it. I think I am a genius, but I have to memorize it at least 4 or 5 times before I can remember it. It is even more difficult to correct pronunciation. However, this was not the case for children. For some children, as long as you taught them how to call their mother once, they would be able to remember it. What was taught to the child at the age of 1, when the child grew up, was it because of the infinite repetition or the hidden memory of the child that played a role? I have been thinking about it for a few years. Our joy and fear are more from when we are babies, before the age of 6. So I want to set up a baby class, but I don't know if the parents will be willing. Zhang Xiaobao finally said his idea. He wanted to set up a nursery that was different from other places. Do you want to train people who can be used or who can promote the development of science? Actually, I understand what you are saying. Take hypnosis, for example. It is a joke to ordinary people, but we live in a hypnotic environment all the time. As long as people's metabolism can't be separated from the chloride ion, they will be affected by the flow of electrons. Put a normal person in a group of mentally ill people and listen to the screams of the mentally ill people every day. Very few people are unaffected. Of course, people like you are an exception. Wang Wan understood what Zhang Xiaobao meant. He wanted to bring out the essence of a baby as much as possible. He didn't want this essence to be deliberately destroyed later on, but to promote his development. Let's start with Huayuan County. I only thought of this when I saw Bei Bei. Bei Bei's mental waves should be greater than ordinary people's, and he should be able to feel everyone's attitude towards him. I feel that it would be a waste to form a system for him, but it would be a pity to give up on him. Zhang Xiaobao was in a tough spot. He was quite proficient in this aspect. The simplest example was when he had personally gone for an interview in the past. He had purposely made the room big. The place where he sat was like the throne of a palace, while the person being interviewed was surrounded by empty space. Especially behind them, when a door was opened, it was actually an open window, and it was at a place above the 10th floor. There were some sophisticated instruments on the chair. Some of the interviewees were afraid, some were empty, some were angry, some were calm, and some even turned around and left. Then you should do as you say, right? You made it so mysterious and scary. Wang Wan actually didn't want to get involved with things that were too realistic. You also feel afraid, right? I actually feel cold all over when I think about it. The more I think about the origin of a person, the more I feel insignificant, especially when it comes to the creation of the universe. Therefore, I decided that in order to not let those 4 people mess with me, I will let them know some things that we can't understand. Zhang Xiaobao didn't mention the child. He talked about the influence of spirit and thinking, and specifically targeted the 4 people. What about the child? Wang Wan asked at this moment. Children are divided into different age groups, and we use building blocks and drawings to cultivate them. It's a pity that technology can't keep up. Find a few people to talk about their own things next to the child, and it's all the basics. Where the child is willing to climb to listen, we can analyze according to probability. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the black and white water outside and felt that some things were really hard to grasp. Chapter 432. Zhang Zhong carried Bei Bei in his arms. Since he did not have time to open an umbrella, he could only stuff Bei Bei into his clothes. Then he went to check on Bei Bei's father. This man was usually an honest man, so honest that it made people feel that he was a little cowardly. However, this time he stood up straight. After receiving treatment from the doctor, he ignored his injuries and busied himself with the others to collect the fallen trees. These trees were used to build sheds, and now the sheds were leaking. On the land formed by countless wooden rafts, the people who could not do anything tied themselves to the rafts. The wind and rain did not stop, and the waves were surging. With each wave, the land formed by the wooden rafts would rise and fall. There were many ropes that could be used, and they were firmly tied. The safety island in the hearts of the people was not broken. From time to time, the boats released would pick up the people who were washed into the water. Those who had their own rafts or boats would point out the way. The people of Luzhou were not the only people who were rescued. The mountain people and the people from other provinces were also rescued. When dawn came, only 200 to 300 people of Luzhou's 7,000 people had not arrived. It was unknown whether they were dead or not. Many mountain people were washed into the water and were also arranged on the land. They were vigilant against the people around them, and they did not refuse the food they were given. When Zhang Xiaobao, who had not slept all night, received the data of the missing people of Luzhou, he closed his eyes in pain. Wang Wan, who was beside him, also had a heavy heart. Although the two of them killed without batting an eyelid, they only killed bad people. They could not bear to kill these people. They knew too much about the darkness, and they always wanted to leave a pure land where the people could live like a family. Xiaobao, expand the search area. Maybe some of the people ran to the mountains, and maybe some are still floating in the water. The 4 guys who were gloating are also here. What should we do? Wang Wan said as she massaged Zhang Xiaobao's head. After a day and a night, she finally saw the planning and calculation ability of an international swindler. The people of the inner court were sent out to collect information. All kinds of requests and information were reported. Zhang Xiaobao was in charge, and he arranged everything just right, no matter how big or small. He was able to take care of everything from the search area of the fleet to the injured and sick people. After arranging the search method, he would occasionally ask if someone's fever had subsided. What method did he use? All he had to do was ask a child whose mouth was injured if he could eat, and everything would be under his control. He would even ask about what the officials were doing to atone for their crimes. All the messy information would be sorted out in front of him. This was what it meant to have no empty seats under a great reputation. Zhang Xiaobao was indeed exhausted. He had not done this for a long time. Even though he knew he was tired, he could not stop. At this time, it would be a sin to not use his ability. Perhaps what he saw was just data, but in reality, they were living people. One less person would be an unbearable pain for a family. Hearing Wang Wan's suggestion, he nodded and said, "No need. Continue with your work. We'll just need to take a nap for 1.5 hours. Let our 56 people expand the search area. At this time, we can only use them. We've trained them for 1,000 days to use them for 1 day. Let's see how their training has turned out." Those 4 people also came? Good. Tell the cook not to give them food. Aren't you just waiting to see a joke? Even if they starve to death, don't let them build a shelter. Let them stay on their own wooden raft. They are not allowed to come close to this land. If they have the ability, they can row elsewhere. Zhang Xiaobao said it casually, but Wang Wan knew that if they did so, it would be equivalent to giving the 4 people and their families a death sentence. The gale had only come once, and it was because of the geography of the bay. There were still other gale after that. If they were not connected, the small wooden raft could be overturned at any time. Wang Wan picked up the whistle and blew it rhythmically. At this time, the sound of the whistle traveled the furthest. Once it was passed down, the 56 people would know the new order. Xiao Bao, are you really going to let the 4 people and their families die? There are still some servants. Wang Wan asked as she squatted on the wooden raft, where water flowed out and down from time to time. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. Who said we're going to let them die? They still have land and money at home. This time, they will connect the wooden rafts by themselves. But food will be a problem. I don't believe that they are as well prepared as we are. When the time comes, we will sell them food. Do you think it's expensive to sell a steamed bun for 50 copper coins? It's too cheap. Vegetable steamed buns cost 100 copper coins each, and meat steamed buns cost 300 copper coins each. Let's get them to pay first. When they run out of money, we will write a written agreement. They have a salary and land at home. They can slowly pay us back later. Wang Wan did not have any intention of showing mercy. If she did not take this opportunity to teach the 4 people a lesson, they would not know how powerful she was. As for their families, Wang Wan did not think that they were innocent. If their families could persuade them normally, the 4 people would do the same. After receiving the order, the 56 people began to regroup. The original group of 6 or 7 people became a group of 2 people. They rowed the boats and used the clairvoyance to expand the search area. They also did not rest for the whole night. Most of the time, they were soaking in the water and did not eat anything. They were always ready to save people. Fortunately, this was part of their daily training, allowing them to work at high efficiency for 24 hours straight. One by one, they took out the black poppy ointment from their bags and took a small bite. The reaction was very fast when it entered their stomachs. It did not take long for them to feel that their stomachs were warm and they were energetic. They also knew that this was called overdrafting their physical strength, but they had to do it. Their lives were as heavy as a mountain. Even if they died, they had to complete the mission first. Needless to say, after expanding the search area, they really did find some people in need of help. Some people even climbed up the trees with their whole families. They were shivering from the cold and did not dare to jump into the turbulence. After being rescued and put on the boats, they knelt on the boats and kowtowed to the people who saved them. It was not only the people from Benzhou, but also the people from Qinzhou, Shaanxivo, and Fengzhou. These places seemed to have experienced the flood earlier. Some people carried logs and floated over. Some people were even able to persevere and swim. The rescue guards were shocked. These people were really good at swimming. On a large log that floated out from the mountains of Qinzhou, a simple and honest-looking man kept talking to the 5 people on the log who had almost lost the confidence to survive. Don't worry, I, Zhang Dashan, will never be wrong. Don't be fooled by the flood everywhere. If we continue to float forward, we will reach my master's territory. My master is not like the other officials who wait foolishly and do nothing in the face of the flood. My master is definitely prepared. Dashan, don't lie to us. If what you said is true, your master is the provincial governor in Luzhou. He is being bullied miserably now. If you have a master who is the provincial governor, why would you be here? You just bought a shop and you lost all your money, right? Now that the shop is flooded, how are you going to live in the future? If you are washed away by the water, you will be washed into the sea in the end. And I say if we can survive, you can come to my place and be an assistant. I think you are a good person, so you should be good. A man in a Sioux embroidered robe who was sitting on the log said to Zhang Dashan. He liked this guy very much. Zhang Dashan shook his head vigorously and said, I am not going to your place. When I find my master, I will ask him what to do. If the shop is gone, then so be it. Look at me. I am carrying a big bag with me. Inside are the things that will keep me alive. Before I came out, I brought 10 smoked chickens for my master. You must be hungry, right? You are lucky. 3 people can eat 1, and we can eat 2 first. This smoked chicken is not afraid of getting cold. It can be eaten even after it has been watered by the rain. I came here by land on the Zhang family's cargo ship. I wanted to open a shop here, and if I had the chance in the future, I would look for my master and give him some smoked chickens to eat. But as soon as I opened the shop, I was hit by the flood. Now I have to look for my master and ask for his help. I am so stupid, don't you think? When I find my master, he will give me money to open the shop. I have received a favor from him once, so I am embarrassed. The 5 people on the log didn't believe what Zhang Dashan said at all. It was full of loopholes. But at this time, it was really good to listen to it. At least they didn't feel so lonely. Zhang Dashan really took out 2 smoked chickens from the big bag. He first tore off 2 chicken claws, 2 chicken wings, and 1 chicken head. He gave the rest to the 2 people next to him and let them divide it among themselves. The other whole chicken was given to the other 3 people. People who didn't know how to eat would eat the chicken breast and the chicken thigh meat. Zhang Dashan, who dealt with chickens all day, was naturally not so stupid. He tore off the best part of the chicken and kept it for himself. He didn't feel anything when he took a bite. He was used to the taste. But it was the first time for the other 5 people to eat chicken. They had never tasted smoked chicken before, so they ate very quickly. The person who said that he wanted to ask Zhang Dashan to be his shop assistant had an idea and said to Zhang Dashan, "Dashan, if you can really survive, I will give you money to open a shop. When the time comes, we will split it 50-50. You tell me the recipe, and I will give you 30% of the shares of the branch I open. How about that? I already said that I am not short of money when I come to find my master. I don't even know what the recipe is. I just brought a lot of seasonings and carried them all on my back. Why do I want to open a shop here? I just want to wait until I see my master and get the seasonings from his house. Otherwise, there will be a day when I run out, and it will take a lot of effort to go back." Zhang Dashan wasn't lying, but the others didn't believe him. He patted the big bag on his back and emphasized again that he was a person of an organization. As they were talking, a sharp-eyed person suddenly pointed to the front and said, "Look, someone is swimming over. Save him." Zhang Dashan also looked over and said happily, "What save? He is here to save us. Our Zhang family's most powerful guard is here. The master is really powerful." Chapter 433. While the other 5 people still thought that Zhang Dashan was talking nonsense, Zhang Dashan waved at the person swimming over and shouted, "Pang, come here and tell me how the master is. I'll give you a chicken. I just smoked it when I came here. I put more salt, so it's refreshing. Pang, good job, you swim fast." Seeing the main house's guards, Zhang Dashan was no longer worried. It was as if he had met someone from his hometown on a trip. He talked to them very easily. As expected, the person in the water sped up. When he swam closer, he wiped his face with his hand and glanced at the person on the log. He said to Zhang Dashan, "Dashan, who else came with you? Where is he? Can't find him, right? Tell us the place and we'll go and rescue him immediately." "It's just me. Come here and hold the log. It's big and can't be heavy. How's the master? Where's the madam? How's the master and madam? Our young master and young lady are doing well, right? Here, this chicken wing is for you. It's salty. I made it like this on purpose. I was afraid that it would float for too long." Zhang Dashan waved his hand and asked Pang to come over. He stuffed a chicken wing into his mouth and asked happily. Pang held the chicken wing in one hand and the log in the other. He ate 2 mouthfuls and praised, "Not bad, Dashan. You've trained your skills. It's delicious, even salty. It's been 2 days and 1 night, and I've only eaten hardtack. I've been vomiting acid. Finally, I've eaten something decent. How much do you have? Take it all out and share it with the brothers. The master is fine. The young master and young lady are exhausted. They didn't sleep the whole night and only ate hardtack. You'll know when you get there. Why are you here? Do you have water? Give me a sip. I don't want to drink the rainwater in the river." Zhang Dashan took out the water and gave Pang a few sips. He only gave him a chicken claw and didn't give him any more. "I still want to let the master taste it. You guys eat hardtack. I don't believe that those hardtack will make you vomit acid. There's meat and vegetables in it, and it doesn't lack salt. Does our Lu Zhou have a lot of water? What do you mean our Lu Zhou? You're from Sanshui County, okay? The water is huge, and everything is washed away. Master has brought the people of the province to build a platform with wooden rafts. It's not bad. Do you want to continue on your own, or do you want us to carry you? If you can walk on your own, then walk on your own. In another 2 hours, you will be able to drink the hot soup provided by the temporary supply ship. We still have to continue patrolling. Give me that chicken claw of yours. Now that Tang had something to hold on to, he felt much more relaxed. He extended his hand as he spoke. Zhang Dashan handed over the chicken claw in his hand and said, I told you that my master would definitely be prepared. Sure enough, wherever my master is our home. We will go there ourselves. You continue to save people. There are still people being washed over. All right, let's go. Tang let go of his hand. With a chicken claw in each hand and a chicken wing in his mouth, he walked forward in a relaxed manner. How is it? Did you see that? These are the most powerful bodyguards of our main house, the members of Team Zero of the Vigorous Protection Team. In the water, they're just like on the ground. What is this called? Yes, it's like walking on flat ground. Seeing them means that we have entered the coverage area of their patrol, so we don't have to worry anymore. Zhang Dashan only had a chicken wing and a chicken head left in his hand. As he ate them in small bites, he puffed out his chest, looking very proud. It was impossible for the 5 of them not to believe him this time. The way they looked at Zhang Dashan changed. The person who had been waiting for things to settle down to recruit Zhang Dashan also sighed at this time. He already knew that with the power of that official's family, it was impossible for Zhang Dashan to be roped in by others. At this time, the old man of the father and daughter pair asked Zhang Dashan, Dashan, you are a farmer. How did you have the money to open a shop? Now that the money is gone, will your master really give you the money? Of course, my master is good to us. I borrowed money from him first, and I will return it when the time comes. In fact, as long as I can go home, I won't be short of money. We are different from other farmers. We have 40 pigs, more than 300 ducks, and 200 chickens, so we don't lack money. Although we are farmers, we live in a 2-story building, and we have dozens of strings of cash at home. Last year's bumper harvest, our family earned a lot. We have people in Zhuangzi who are sick, and we don't need money for treatment. We also have people who make clothes for us. When we earn more money, we will go back and find a wife. When we have children, we will send them to the school in Zhuangzi. When Zhang Dashan talked about Zhuangzi and the main house, he became even more proud. He told the story of his family bit by bit, making people feel that he was not a farmer, but the main house in Zhuangzi. He lived in a 2-story building and raised so many things. His family was not short of money at all. No wonder he was not worried at all about the house that he had just bought being washed away. The old man was satisfied. He held his daughter's hand and said to Zhang Dashan, Dashan, what do you think of my daughter? She said she would be your wife. As long as you are good to my daughter, she will marry you after she settles down. Father, I won't marry, so I will accompany you, the girl said shyly. Her words showed that she did not agree, but her eyes kept glancing at Zhang Dashan. She was very satisfied with this simple and honest man, especially the chicken that had not been eaten yet. It tasted so good. Zhang Dashan looked at the girl and said to the old man, My Zhuangzi is different from other places. If she marries me, she will have to sign a death contract. I don't know if your daughter is willing to study. If she is not, I will not agree no matter what. We farmers need to be literate. Dashan, you can read too? The 5 people were surprised. They did not expect a farmer to be literate. How can I open a shop if I can't read? I can do accounting, and I'm not slow. The accounting books I use are taught by the main house. If there is a loan, there is a loan. And if there is a loan, there must be an equal return. It took me a lot of effort to learn, but in the end, I learned it. Zhang Dashan felt that knowing how to do accounting was also a skill. Ordinary girls were not good enough for him. The woman couldn't take her eyes off Zhang Dashan. This man was simple, honest, and knew how to cook delicious smoked chicken. He was literate, and his family background was not bad. He even knew how to calculate. His body was strong. Thinking of this, the woman squeezed her father's hand. The old man immediately understood what his daughter meant. She had taken a fancy to him. Unfortunately, he was very capable and had high requirements. He even wanted to sign a death contract. Dashan, no one in my family has ever learned to read. If I give my daughter to you, can you teach her? Why do you have to sign a death contract? The old man did not want to give up such a good son-in-law, so he asked Zhang Dashan. Zhang Dashan smiled honestly and said, I don't need to teach her. There is a special night school in Zhuangzi, and there is an invited teacher to teach her. The death contract must be signed. Otherwise, there are many secrets in Zhuangzi, and if you learn them and tell others, how can you do it without a death contract? The old man did not know what secrets Zhang Dashan had in Zhuangzi, but he could not bear to let his daughter sign a death contract. He hesitated. His daughter next to him did not care about the death contract. She felt that Zhang Dashan was not as flustered as others during the flood. Moreover, he was very casual when talking to the main house's guards, which made her feel very safe. His family was not bad. He could read and do accounting. He was honest and responsible, and the main house was so powerful. If she followed such a person, she would not have to be afraid of a hard life in the future. Her father was old and needed someone to take care of him. All these factors made the girl feel tempted. She squeezed her father's hand again, but when her father looked over, she turned her head away. The old man knew what his daughter was thinking. He looked at Zhang Dashan, who was eating the chicken head, and said, Dashan, I can agree to what you said. What do you think of my daughter? Me? I don't know. I have to go back and ask my mother. Why don't we go and ask my master? If he says yes, then yes. If he says no, then no. Zhang Dashan had not come into contact with women outside, so he was also very shy. He chewed the chicken head until it was crushed, but he still could not make up his mind. The old man really did not understand. Zhang Dashan looked simple and honest, but he was actually quite clever. Why did he have to ask the main house about this kind of thing? Why would the main house care about such small things? He asked, what if your master is wrong? Master will not be wrong. You don't know how powerful the main house is. The main house never does anything wrong. There is a boat in front with the main house's flag. Let's go and see. As Zhang Dashan spoke, he saw a flag with rice seedlings in front of them. It made him feel very familiar. With rice seedlings, there was no need to worry. The 6 of them paddled the water with their hands, slightly changing the direction of the log, and headed towards the boat. As soon as they got close, the people on the boat were preparing hot soup, which was actually hot porridge. When they saw Zhang Dashan, they said in surprise, Dashan, is that you? What are you doing here? Come here and drink some hot soup. The person guarding the boat was Susi, who was now also a member of the inner courtyard. The matters of the market had been handed over to Ergo, so he had other uses. When he saw Zhang Dashan, he was a little surprised. Susi, you're here. Let me see what soup you made. The soup you made is really hard to compliment. How is this soup? There's so much minced meat. It's almost like meat porridge. Add more chopped green onions. If you don't want any, then add some ginger. You've really tortured me these past 2 days. Zhang Dashan saw another relative. He took the soup and gave it to the other 5 people first. When it was his turn, he put in more ginger. Brother Dashan, my father and I also want some ginger, the woman said softly. At this time, she had already decided to marry Zhang Dashan. Not to mention other things, the power of the Zhang family made her think so. In front of them, there were guards patrolling the water, and on the way, there was a boat of the Zhang family providing hot porridge. From Zhang Dashan's 2 interactions with people, she knew how capable the Zhang family was. She would have a good life with such a person. Zhang Dashan scratched his head and said to Susi, add some ginger for them too. If it doesn't work out, put it on my tab. Give them 1 egg too. These eggs are mine. Others don't have them. Since I met you, the Zhang family has to treat our own people differently from others. That's why I took them out. There are only 2 of them. You decide for yourself. Chapter 31. Some are happy. Some are sad. When Su Si added ginger to the other 5 people's bowls, he also put a tea egg in Zhang Dashan's bowl. He thought that the Zhang family's treatment must be better than others. He didn't expect that Zhang Dashan would take a fancy to the woman and ask for one too. Seeing that another herbal tea egg had been placed in the bowl, Zhang Dashan used a spoon to scoop it into the old man's and the woman's bowls. He didn't have any for himself, so he said to the old man, "Uncle, you eat it. This herbal tea egg can't be eaten by most people. The real herbal tea egg smells like Xinyang Maojian." After saying this to the old man, Zhang Dashan said to the woman, "You try too. The food cooked by the Zhang family is definitely not bad. Brother Dashan, I'll share half with you." The woman bit off half of the egg in one bite, spat it into the bowl, and brought the other half back with a spoon. "No, no, you eat it," Zhang Dashan said as he took the other half of the egg. Su Si was such a smart person, so of course he didn't make a mistake. He smiled at Zhang Dashan and said, "Dashan, you have the ability, but you have to think carefully. You have to sign a death contract. Otherwise, not only the main family won't agree, but we also won't agree. You know how valuable the things produced by the Zhang family are." "No, no, Brother Su, you're wrong. Not yet. We have to wait until we go back and ask the master." Zhang Dashan didn't dare to look Su Si in the eye and lowered his head. The woman dared to love and hate. She said, "Brother Dashan, don't worry. I'm willing to sign a death contract. I can see that being a farmer in the Zhang family is better than being a rich person outside. At least when there's a flood, the rich people won't have the ability to send people to help. They also won't have hot soup and eggs on the way. The Zhang family's farmers can do it. What's there to be dissatisfied with? Brother Dashan, you can still come out. The Zhuangzi's management is not strict. Isn't it just that they don't tell outsiders what they see and hear? I can do it." Su Si looked at the woman and was very surprised. She was really unusual. He nodded and said, "Well, at least I agree. Just like what the young master and the young lady said, it's better to be a dog in peace than to cause trouble." But even in troubled times, the Zhang family and the Wang family are still people. The Zhang family and the Wang family are different. "Here, sister, this is for you as a brother. Eat it quickly. You may not have it when you go to the next place. It's beef. You can't eat it normally." As he spoke, Su Si handed over a beef bun. It was a palm-sized bun with a lot of beef, coriander, chopped green onions, chili sauce, and sesame oil. The woman took it graciously. She knew the value of beef. It wasn't something that could be bought with money. The Zhang family was really good. They were rich and generous to make such food for the people they sent. Holding the beef bun, the woman first said to Zhang Dashan, "Brother Dashan, you take a big bite. I'll give the rest to my father." Zhang Dashan shook his head. "You guys eat. If I want to eat, I just have to go there and tell the master personally. If the master has beef, he will give it to me. The master treats the farmers very well. Brother Dashan, take a bite. Otherwise, we won't eat." The woman handed the bun forward again. Zhang Dashan had no choice. He took a small bite, chewed it in his mouth, and tasted it. He asked, "Who made this? Is the meat not boiled? Why are you so nosy? Boiled? Is there so much wood? The young lady made it. What are you trying to say?" Su Si glared at him and asked, "It's delicious. So it was the young lady who made it. It's good that it's not boiled. It has a special taste. It's fresh. No wonder I drooled so much. I won't be able to eat anything better in my life." Zhang Dashan immediately followed the conversation. Even if the food was hard to swallow, he wouldn't dare say no to the young lady's cooking, let alone the fact that it tasted good. The woman next to him let her father take a bite first. Then she took a small bite and tasted it. She said to Zhang Dashan, "Brother Dashan, I think it's delicious." "Well, it's delicious, but it's not boiled. The taste of this beef, it's really delicious. Zhang Dashan really didn't know what to say. Su Si laughed and patted Zhang Dashan on the shoulder. He said, "This is made by the locals. How could the young lady make such beef? If it was really made by the young lady, you won't be able to eat anything else in the future. How could the young lady forget to boil it once? Not only does the young lady know how to boil it, but she also knows how to braise it once. Drink the soup and leave quickly. Leave the bowl for me." Zhang Dashan looked at Su Si gloomily. He had just tasted it and found the taste of laxative. That was why he said that the meat was not boiled. Now that he heard Su Si's words, he couldn't say that it was bad. He could only say to the woman, "This meat is really bad. When we get there, I'll cook it for you personally." The person who cooked it didn't put in any effort at all. Zhang Dashan's mouth was picky, but others weren't like him. The old man took a bite, the woman took a bite, and the other 3 people each took a bite. The woman slowly ate the rest by herself. Although it was just a single beef bun, it was very precious to the 5 of them. The soup was also good. After drinking a bowl, they were basically full. The 6 of them said goodbye to Su Si and continued to paddle to their destination. However, they were in a different state from before. Previously, the 5 of them were prepared to wait for death. Now, they were full of hope for the future. At this time, a person who had been silent all this time spoke. "Zhang Dashan, is your master really Luzhou's provincial governor? I really envy the people here. I think many of them will be saved. I wonder if your master will agree to people from other provinces coming to live here?" Yes, he will definitely agree. Master is not afraid of too many people. As long as you want to live here, Master may even give you some land. You don't have to worry about the rent. This year, there was a flood here. Not to mention the rent, even the tribute will be exempted. When the water recedes, at least you can plant some crops. The master won't collect rent this year. If he collects rent next year, when everyone is done planting, it will be much easier. You don't have to worry about the master charging more. The Zhang family is not short of money. The master won't care about that little thing. Zhang Dashan knew the master's family very well. The more people, the better. When the time came, they could arrange for people to work. Otherwise, if there were not enough people, many things could not be done. The person who asked the question was relieved. He just wanted to take root in Luzhou. With such an official, his life in the future would be easy. At this time, the person who wanted to rope in Zhang Dashan also asked, "Zhang Dashan, do you think your master will do some business with me after the water recedes?" Zhang Dashan turned his head and looked at him. "How much capital do you have? If it's too little, don't think about it. You have to have at least 1,000 strings of coins. All right, 1,000 strings of cash it is. I can still raise the money. When we reach the place, you have to put in a good word for me." When the person heard the offer of 1,000 strings of cash, he did not hesitate at all and directly agreed. Although he did not have that much money, he could borrow it. As a businessman, he felt that this was an opportunity, a great opportunity. If he missed it, he would regret it for the rest of his life. The 6 people relaxed and began to chat. Most of the time, it was Zhang Dashan talking. He talked about Zhuangzi, between the clouds and the water, and the situation in the county back then, and how it was now. The 5 of them listened attentively. They were very eager to go there and take a look. The woman put all her heart on Zhang Dashan. She listened and watched there, imagining her life in the future. As she thought about it, her face turned red again. The 6 of them were happy, but 4 of them were unhappy. Fan Jinshi and the other judges worked together and built many wooden rafts. Their family members and servants were on these wooden rafts. More than 30 wooden rafts were used to load all the things and people in the family. Who knew that after they arrived, the people here did not allow their rafts to get close. The wind was strong, so more than 30 wooden rafts had to be connected to each other. When it was almost nighttime, they found an important problem. They did not prepare ready-made food. There were raw things, but how were they going to eat raw rice and noodles? In order not to starve, Fan Jinshi personally negotiated with the people on land. In the end, they came to a conclusion. A steamed bun was 200 coins, A bowl of egg drop soup was 100 coins, 2 spoons of soy sauce was 50 coins, and 1 head was 100 coins. The price was dozens or even hundreds of times higher than usual. The 4 of them were dumbfounded. This is too expensive. How can they ask for so much money? They must be doing it on purpose. They are deliberately tricking us. Fan Jianxi stomped her feet and said to the 3 of them. The 3 of them also knew that the price was very unreasonable, but there was nothing they could do. They had already thought that Zhang Zhong was deliberately tricking them. If they went to Zhang Zhong now, it would not end well. Lu Shaoqing said with a gloomy face, then buy more. When we have enough, we will not stay here. We will go directly to Qinzhou. With his instructions, the servants ran over to buy. When they came back, the 4 of them found that the things they bought were only enough for everyone in the 4 families to eat 1 meal. Just this meal alone cost more than 100 strings of coins. What about the next meal? Lu Shaoqing asked the servant who bought the things. In reply to Master, there is nothing for the next meal, only this meal. They said that they would wait for the price to come out before they can continue to sell. It seems that the amount of money for each meal is different. The servant respectfully replied, on purpose, they are doing it on purpose. Damn that Zhang Zhong. He must be afraid that we will leave, so he only sold us a few things. How about this? We can let the others eat less or starve for a few meals and save up. When we get to Qinzhou, we will be fine. Chapter 434. Provincial Governor, I would like to discuss something with you. Can you allow me and the other 3 families, raft teams, to join this large group? The wind is too strong. It's easy for something to happen with the rafts together. Lu Shaoqing really had no other choice. They could save some food, but they couldn't guarantee their safety. Compared to their small piece of land, the big piece of land was like a small island and the big land. Nothing would happen to the big land in a storm, but the small island could be submerged at any time. After hesitating for a while, he found Zhang Zhong, who was still busy looking around, and wanted to cooperate with him. His attitude and the way he addressed Zhang Zhong had changed, as if Zhang Zhong was really a provincial governor in his heart. Zhang Zhong no longer had any expectations for this person, especially after knowing that the 4 of them were gloating in the heavy rain. He couldn't wait to push the 4 of them into the water and drown them. Seeing Lu Shaoqing come over to join them, he thought for a moment and nodded. That's fine. I'll arrange for people to join your rafts together in a moment. You don't have to worry. Thank you, Your Excellency. There's one more thing, and that is to eat. We came out in a hurry and didn't bring anything cooked. If we eat too much uncooked rice and noodles, it will hurt our stomachs. Why don't Your Excellency get someone to collect our food and then give us something cooked according to the same amount? Lu Shaoqing asked. His idea wasn't bad, but Zhang Zhong wasn't a fool. He looked at him with a smile and said, why don't you send the rice, noodles, and other oil over, as well as some wood that can be used to burn the fire? Our people will do it for you. You just need to pay the processing fee. How about that? Dry wood that can be used to burn the fire? Sir, we don't have that kind of thing. It's all wet and can't be lit at all. The fire here is strong. Even if it's wet, it can be dried out. Why don't we send you some wet ones and give you 10 strings of money as the processing fee? What do you think? Lu Shaoqing sounded aggrieved, but in fact, he was cursing Zhang Zhong in his heart. If there was fire, would he still need to look for you? Zhang Zhong simply didn't want to think about how the 4 of them would scold him. In any case, he didn't plan on letting them have a good time. After hearing Lu Shaoqing's words, he regretfully shook his head and said, it's not that this official doesn't want to help. It's just that the smoke from burning the wet wood is too big. How about this? You bring the wet wood and all the food and money here. Every day, when you have your meals, come here to collect a portion of it. I guarantee that you won't starve to death. The 4 of you are quite united, even eating together. Not bad. This is how the officials should do their jobs for the common people. This matter is settled. In a moment, this official will arrange for people to go to your place to collect the things. You must prepare everything well. Otherwise, even if this official agrees, so many people may not agree. Lu Shaoqing was a bit dizzy. The wood and food were sent over, but he still had to give money. Especially that sentence. If they didn't starve to death, wouldn't they be able to eat their fill? Thinking of this, Lu Shaoqing could only thicken his skin and continue to plead with Zhang Zhong. Sir, we don't need the money, so there's no need to take it out. Also, our families are used to eating their fill. If there's a time when they don't eat their fill, it won't be good if they cause trouble. Don't you think so, sir? Lu Shaoqing, are you threatening me? The four of you added up to less than 200 people. Don't worry, if one of you causes trouble, I'll kill one. If two, I'll kill a pair. Even if the four of you cause trouble, this official won't show any mercy. If you don't believe me, you can try. You can leave now. If you want to eat cooked food, do as this official says. If you want to cause trouble, be careful of your own head. Also, this official doesn't want to hear the same words coming out of your mouth in the future. Otherwise, this official will tie you to a stone and sink you into the water. Take it as your loyalty to the country. Humph. Zhang Zhong didn't care about the four people's bad habits. It was good that they caused trouble. He was just worried that he couldn't find a reason to kill them. After saying this to Lu Shaoqing, he snorted coldly and walked in another direction. Sir, you can't do this. This humble one said something wrong. This humble one will change. Sir, what are you doing? Lu Shaoqing wanted to chase after them and shouted. Suddenly, 2 knives were placed on his neck. He stopped there and didn't dare to move. He asked the 2 hostages. The 2 hostages were guards of the prince's residence. They didn't care about a magistrate at all. One of them moved his knife forward and stared at Lu Shaoqing. He said, "Hurry up and stay away, otherwise you will die." As he said this person even gave Lu Shaoqing a sinister smile. Only then did the 2 hostages put away their knives and left behind Zhang Zhong. Lu Shaoqing stood there and didn't dare to continue following. He turned around and looked in the direction of the 3 hostages. He didn't know how to explain it. It was all his fault for saying the wrong thing. Of all things, why did he mention the matter of causing trouble? He had angered Zhang Zhong. Now, if he wanted to eat hot food, he had to send over everything, including money. Otherwise, he would have to eat raw food. Causing trouble was just an excuse. He didn't dare to cause trouble. Zhang Zhong killed people without blinking an eye. Whoever jumped out would die. With a sigh, Lu Shaoqing returned to the 3 expectant people and said to them, Zhang Zhong doesn't agree to do things for us for free. He wants us to hand over everything, and someone will do it for us. But at the same time, he wants us to send all our money over. What do you think we should do? I tried my best to get Zhang Zhong to agree to connect our wooden rafts to that place. I can't do anything else. You see who's better. Let's talk about it. Don't think about causing trouble. Zhang Zhong already said that if anyone dares to cause trouble, they will be killed. Lu Shaoqing first talked about the food. Naturally, he didn't mention that he had accidentally offended Zhang Zhong. Instead, he brought up the matter of connecting the rafts. This made the 3 people think that he had done his best. The 3 people didn't think that Lu Shaoqing was lying. They thought that it was true. After all, Zhang Zhong had always been at odds with them. How could they miss this opportunity? Chao Herui angrily slapped his thigh and cursed, "Damn Zhang Zhong. He better not fall into our hands. He actually wants us to send over all our money. His family suffered a loss this time. Do they want us to help them make up for their losses? Dream on. I've decided. Let the servants eat raw food. What's there to be afraid of? They won't go bad if they eat it. Don't tell me that people who live in the mountains can eat cooked food for every meal. Let's connect the rafts first. What do you think? I think so too. We can't send the money over. Our 4 families have a total of 10,000 strings of cash. Why should we give it to Zhang Zhong? Let's eat raw food. Don't we still have some fruits? The 4 of us and our families will eat some fruits. Let the servants eat raw food. We have to tell the servants that it was Zhang Zhong who harmed them. Jiang Huanshi was also very angry. She shouted and didn't agree to give the money away no matter what. One of the other two said something wrong and didn't dare to say anything else. The other saw that the other two didn't agree and could only agree. The four of them advanced and retreated together. The matter of the grain was like that. The four of them ordered the servants to move the wooden rafts to the side of the larger area. Who would have thought that as soon as they reached the side, the guard standing there would shout at them, "Who allowed you to come here? Move quickly. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite." At this time, Fan Jinshi stood up. He went to the front and said with a smile, "This is Lord Zhang. Governor Zhang asked us to move the rafts to this side. We waited for Governor Zhang's order to return them. Lord Zhang asked you to move here. He didn't ask you to move here. Follow me. There's already a place. There's no one around. It's quiet." As the guard spoke, he walked to the side of the rafts. The big rafts here also moved. As they walked, they came to the side facing the outside. There was no one on the rafts here, only some stones. In addition to the stones on the rafts, there were also stones tied to the rafts with ropes. In this way, if the waves came from the other side, they would have to pass through here first. The waves were originally big, but after passing through here, they would become much weaker. This way, the people on the rafts wouldn't have to bump very much. However, this place wasn't what the four wanted. After seeing this place, Fan Jinshi couldn't help but ask, "Why here? Isn't this just making us wait to suffer? No, not here. Let's go to the place we just went." The guard sneered and said to Fan Jinshi, "You said no, so we can't? Like before, you float your rafts and we float ours. Or, listen to the order and move the rafts here. Hurry up. What do you want to do? We don't have time to waste on you." "I'm going to ask, sir." "It's impossible." Lu Shaoqing didn't want to be moved by the waves at the outermost side. After saying this, he quickly ran away. After looking around, he finally found Zhang Zhong, who was talking to an old man. Zhang Zhong was already very sleepy. After saying a few words, he yawned twice and forced his eyes to stay open. The one who talked to Zhang Zhong quickly said his opinion on the weather so that Zhang Zhong could sleep early. Sir, you have to help us. Your guard really didn't listen to the order. He actually arranged our rafts to the place closest to the sea." Lu Shaoqing found Zhang Zhong to complain. Zhang Zhong yawned again and said to Lu Shaoqing, "No one disobeyed the order. It was this official who arranged it for you. Go over there and tie your rafts securely. Then you can change those rocks to your rafts. That way, you won't be at the outermost side." Chapter 33. Love sometimes is too sudden, ah? Is that so? Thank you very much, sir. This little one will do it right away. Lu Shaoqing understood this time. He lowered his head and walked back. As he walked, he cursed in a low voice, "Damn Zhang Zhong. He actually arranged for us to be at this place. If a storm really comes, won't those rocks flip over and smash our heads?" Thinking this, Lu Shaoqing also said this to the three people when he returned. The three people thought about it, but none of them agreed. After some discussion, the four people decided to move the rafts to the front of a large wooden array. If they were there, they wouldn't have to worry even if there was water rushing down from upstream. If a storm really came from behind, they would let Zhang Zhong and the commoners endure it first. The small rafts began to move forward again. Zhang Xiaobao stood beside the large wooden array and watched the rafts move. He smiled and didn't say anything. Wang Wan frowned and asked, "Xiaobao, are we just going to let them go like this?" "It's still raining." Zhang Xiaobao looked up at the sky and said. Wang Wan understood this time. She smiled and pulled Zhang Xiaobao over to rest. The two of them were a little tired. Even if they slept for an hour, they would recover a lot. Zhang Zhong was also tired at this time and couldn't stand. He had to find a stool to sit down and talk to others. As he talked, he fell asleep. No one next to him complained. They just felt that the adults were working too hard. When it was almost nighttime, Zhang Dashan and the others also came over. A thick piece of wood directly hit Lu Shaoqing's group of more than 30 wooden rafts. Immediately, 3 of the rafts fell apart. Lu Shaoqing stood up and scolded Zhang Dashan. Zhang Dashan didn't care about others at all. He said to Lu Shaoqing, "Shut up first. Tell me, where is my master?" "My master is the provincial governor here. I'm here to find him." Lu Shaoqing was stunned for a moment. Suddenly, he laughed again and said to Zhang Dashan, "You're from the Zhang family? Okay, come with me. I'll take you to find the Lord. But you broke our raft. Shouldn't you pay for it first?" "What broke it?" Zhang Dashan asked. "Of course it's this piece of wood," Lu Shaoqing replied. "Then you go find the wood to pay for it. Don't look for us. We were also hit by a piece of wood. We were staying there fine, but the wood hit us, and we came here. I'll let you clean up this piece of wood first. After you're done, I'll clean it up. I'll use it as firewood to chop it up," Zhang Dashan said to Lu Shaoqing with a look of hatred. He even kicked the wood a few times. Lu Shaoqing smacked his lips and nodded as if he had accepted his fate. He said, "Lord Zhang is over there. You find a way to get there. Lord Zhang won't let us get close to him." "Oh, that's good. Is there anyone from the Zhang family?" "I'm Zhang Dashan, a farmer from the Zhang family. Someone come and take us over." Zhang Dashan looked simple and honest, but he wasn't stupid at all. He knew that this person was trying to make things difficult for him, so he shouted in that direction. Soon, a boat rowed over. Zhang Dashan and the other 5 boarded the boat and looked back at Lu Shaoqing. The expressions on their faces made Lu Shaoqing feel that something was wrong, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong. Master, we finally found you." Zhang Dashan led the 5 people around and found Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong had just woken up. He looked at Zhang Dashan with sleepy eyes, shook his head vigorously, and asked curiously, "Are you Zhang Dashan?" Yes, master, it's me. I'm here to see you. I was going to Qingzhou to sell smoked chicken. I didn't expect a heavy rain, so I came over." "Master, how are you? How are old master and old madam, and young master and young lady?" Zhang Dashan said excitedly. The 5 people standing next to him immediately knelt down. This was a high-ranking official, a very high-ranking one. "Get up, there's no need to kneel. There's water on the wood. Dashan, who came with you?" This was what Zhang Zhong was most concerned about. "Don't worry, master, I came alone. There's no one else." "Master, these people are new to me. They came here together on a big log, and they even broke a few of the wooden rafts in front." "Master, there's someone who wants to join Zhuangzi. It's this woman. Master, what do you think?" Zhang Dashan knew what master was worried about. After he finished speaking, he pointed to the 5 people who came with him and emphasized that there was someone who wanted to join Zhuangzi. Zhang Zhong understood immediately. He looked the woman up and down. At first, she was a little shy, but later, she went all out. She stood up straight and let Zhang Zhong look at her. Zhang Zhong looked at her for a while and didn't see anything. He ordered someone next to him, "Go and call Xiaobao and Cuckoo here." After the man left, Zhang Zhong said to Zhang Dashan, "In a while, Xiaobao and Cuckoo will be here. If they say it's okay, then it's okay." "Yes, master." Zhang Dashan was a little nervous. He stood next to the woman and said to her, "Don't be afraid. Master's family is good, especially the young master and young lady. They will definitely do it. How much betrothal gift is your family preparing this time? I need to prepare in advance." The woman was also nervous and nodded. When she heard Zhang Dashan mention the betrothal gift, she said a little shyly, "We're all poor people. A few 100 coins, a few bolts of cloth, and some odds and ends will be enough." "That won't do. How can you add so little things? Let me think about it. No matter what, I have to make your family look decent. Otherwise, the neighbors will look down on you." Zhang Dashan also had some feelings in this regard. In the past, he had seen Zhuangzi farmers marrying off their daughters. In the end, the betrothal gift was very little. The girl didn't pick anything, but the people around her felt that it was too shabby. Now, Zhuangzi's daughters were no longer marrying outside. The daughter who had been married off had begun to be bullied by her in-laws. Ever since Zhuangzi had risen, she was like an ancestor. When she returned to her mother's house, Her in-laws would send people over to protect her carefully. She didn't have to be bullied anymore. The woman was the most hopeful in this regard. When she heard Zhang Zhong say this, she was even more satisfied. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came over. After listening to Zhang Zhong, the two of them looked up at the woman. Seeing the woman's heroic spirit, the two of them looked at each other and nodded. Zhang Xiaobao said, "Zhang Dashan, are you here to do business this time? Then do it. After the new year, when you go back next year, the family will prepare a betrothal gift for you. Since you're here, you can help out a little. The people in Zhuangzi can rest assured." Zhang Dashan was happy when he heard this. He smiled at the woman next to him and ran off to help out. When the woman saw that everyone was looking at her again, she blushed and ran off with Zhang Dashan. "Xiaobao, do you think this is love? Isn't it a little too fast?" Wang Wan looked at Zhang Dashan and the woman's reactions and was very puzzled. This should be considered love, right? At least both of them are willing, and it looks good. Love, as some people say, always comes too fast and too sudden. Don't think about them. Doing business together here first is also a test. Zhang Xiaobao also didn't understand. He also hadn't experienced love. He shook his head, turned around, and walked away. The rain was a little scary. If it continued like this, there would be a bigger flood. Wang Wan followed next to him, still thinking about love. Later, she was confused and asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Xiaobao, how many people do you think the 10 ships can take this time? Are those people willing to stay in the state?" "I don't know. It depends on the situation of the two states. If the officials of the two states respond in time, not too many people will be washed away. Otherwise, there will be a lot of people." The 10 ships that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were talking about were the 10 ships that left out of the 18 ships. 7 ships went to the coast of Lianzhou, and the other 3 went to the coast of Sumaozhou. Sumaozhou's coastal area was smaller and didn't need so many ships. Chapter 435. The citizens of Lianzhou rejoiced as they sat in the cabin. It felt good to be alive. The people on the ship were also happy for them. They had personally rescued the people, so the rescuers were satisfied. An old man who had just been fished out of the water vomited half of his stomach. After he could speak again, he kowtowed to the people who had tied him up and fished him out. Then he asked, "Are you people from a state capital? You look like you are wearing the same clothes." "We are from the Luzhou mansion. We knew that there was going to be a flood, so we came here in advance to wait. We can't do anything inside, but we can save as many people as we can." The rescuer helped the old man up. Then someone placed a bowl of steaming hot soup on the table in the cabin. In fact, it was the simplest egg soup. There were a few egg blossoms, a few pieces of vegetable leaves, some ginger foam, and oil. That was all. However, even a soup like this was extremely precious at a time like this. Most importantly, it was hot. The old man blew on it and drank a mouthful. As he chewed on the ginger in his mouth, he asked the person who had rescued him, "How are things in your state? You sent ships to save us. Aren't you afraid of people dying?" "I don't know how it is now. When we came out, there was no flood. However, there is no need to worry. There are 8 big ships like this. Our provincial governor has made preparations in advance. I don't think many people will die." "Old man, don't you know that it is going to flood?" The rescuers explained. Actually, they were also worried. However, the order was given, so they had to leave and wait here. The old man nodded and then shook his head. He said, "Your provincial governor is good. He can think ahead. This is not good. There is no one here. I know it is going to flood, and I know the Sea Dragon King is angry. However, what can an old man like me do? I can't run even if I want to. How far can I run in a few days? What's more, it was raining heavily outside. I could only make a wooden raft in advance and move some things onto it. When the flood came, I called a few people from my neighbor's house to get on the raft. In the end, a wave came and I was knocked down. I don't know what happened to the people on the raft. Usually, I fish in the sea, and the fishing boat is used by another neighbor. In fact, the boat in this era is not as good as the raft. If I had known earlier, I would have tied myself with a rope. At that time, I was afraid that the raft would overturn, so I just sat on it. You must look carefully here, there are still people alive. As the old man said, he wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and lowered his head to drink the soup. The one who saved people also felt very sad. At the same time, he felt very helpless. He knew that he was not good at swimming. If he could compete with the dozens of guards in the provincial governor's residence, he might be able to save more people. Seeing that the old man drank the soup, he stood up and said to the old man, "Old man, stay here first. I will continue to go out and see if there are people who don't have the strength to climb up. Old man, don't worry. As long as I can do it, I will do my best. Go. When the time comes, send people to this cabin. Even if they don't have any breath, send them to me. Maybe I can save them." The old man's face, that was full of vicissitudes of life, forced a smile. On Su Maozhou's side, it seemed to be the same situation. Many people were washed over and then saved. Although these 10 boats were not many, they saved many people's lives. When the heavy rain reached midnight, an even bigger mountain torrent rushed down. This time it wasn't just water, but also some mud and a large number of uprooted trees. They swirled in the water as they moved towards the defensive line formed by the wooden rafts. When Zhang Zhong, who was already prepared, saw that the water was getting bigger, he immediately asked the people in front to retreat to the middle of the position. He left the wooden rafts in front empty and waited for the trees to hit them. The big boat also moved to the 2 wings in front of the position. If the wooden rafts in front could not withstand the water, they would need to use the boat to block them. Lu Shaoqing and the other 3 people still did not know what was going on. They were eating fruits and letting the servants eat raw rice and noodles. These things were hard to swallow, but the servants did not dare to say anything. If they did not eat, they would be hungry. They could only bear with it and eat little by little. When the first big tree hit this small area of wooden rafts, Lu Shaoqing and the others finally understood why the 6 people had that kind of smile in the evening. It was not safe in front. Previously, 3 wooden rafts were damaged by the wooden rafts. Now, not long after they were repaired, 5 more were damaged. This small area of the position was also pushed back by the trees to the big position behind. After a while, Lu Shaoqing shouted to the servants, "Don't eat first. Quickly, repair the rafts. Quickly." Fan Jinshi also shouted, "Quickly, row to the back of the big wooden rafts. You can't row in front. Quickly." The servant paddled a few times and shook his head helplessly. He said to Fan Jinshi, "We can't paddle anymore. It's stuck. Our wooden raft is stuck in their wooden raft. Unless we can push it out first. Then hurry up. What are you waiting for?" Jiang Huanshi shouted anxiously. "It's too late." As soon as the servant said these 4 words, the raft shook again. 2 more trees hit the rafts. 3 people jumped down from one of the trees. The 3 people jumped onto the rafts. They looked around and thanked Jiang Huanshi and the others. Then they ran towards more wooden rafts, where there were more lights. Seeing the 3 people running away, Chao Harue spat out a mouthful of bloody saliva and cursed. They must have known about this, but they didn't tell us. "All of you, retreat to the back and leave the front open. Bring me some clean water. Do you have any medicine? I bit my tongue." The 3 people jumped down from the trees and ran all the way to Zhang Zhong's side. Seeing that many people were here, they laughed happily. They hid in the shed and asked, "Who is the good official?" "We kowtow to the good official first. You are so awesome. You have a piece of land here." The 3 of us thought we would ride the trees and rush into the sea. "The good official doesn't have time to wait for you to kowtow. Drink the soup first. Otherwise, it will be troublesome if you get sick." A local citizen came over and placed the wooden bowl in front of the 3 people. There was only one bowl, a big bowl. It could hold 5 small bowls. The 3 people were indeed hungry, tired, scared, and cold. They lowered their heads and drank a mouthful. When their stomachs were warm, one of them pointed at the road they came from and asked, "The good official can't be there, right? Just now, the three of us came from there." That's where the bad official is. They thought that if they ran in front, they wouldn't be overturned by the waves. In the end, they hit the trees. They have food and money, but they don't want to take them out. Let's see if they hit the trees again. If they do, the things won't belong to them. This commoner hated Lu Shaoqing and the others to the core. Even their family members and servants hated them. In the past, the family members and servants of these four families often went out to buy things without paying. They even hit people when they walked. Now that they saw them suffer, it was needless to say how happy they were. The three people were stunned. The one who had just spoken said regretfully, "If I had known, I wouldn't have thanked them." Anyway, they hit the trees. "Brothers, drink quickly. We can't just wait to be saved. The three of us still have strength. In a while, we will help the good official do some work." The two brothers nodded at the same time and drank without caring about the heat. The three people looked very optimistic. They were washed away by the flood, but they rode the trees and could run and jump. Once they had stabilized, Lu Shaoqing's side could not hold on any longer. The servants were repairing it as fast as they could, but there was a large number of people rushing down one after another, making it impossible for people to stay in the front. Occasionally, people would come down from the trees, some riding on them, some carrying them. Everyone who came up was very happy. Under the light, they looked at the land in front of them that was connected by wooden rafts and ran to the side where there were more people. Chow Herue sat on the wooden raft and saw that there seemed to be a black shadow in front of him rushing over. He was in no mood to avoid it. After a while, he said to the three people next to him, "Why don't we go over too? If this continues, we will lose our lives. Why would we want money? If they want it, we will give it to them." The other three people didn't have the mood to care about money. They had wanted to go for a long time, but they were afraid of losing face. Since someone suggested it, it was easy to talk about. Lu Shaoqing gritted his teeth and said, "Then let's go and discuss with Zhang Zhong. Give it to him. Give it all to him. He is sucking blood." The four people all agreed. They brought their family members and servants, as well as the supplies and money, and went to the large array of wooden rafts. Hearing the continuous crashing behind them, they felt a lingering fear. When the four people found Zhang Zhong had just slept for an hour. His eyes were red and swollen, and his face was haggard. This was because he usually ate a good combination of food. Otherwise, he would have collapsed from exhaustion. "Sir, we thought about it and decided to do as you said. Sir, the things are here. Please take them all." Lu Shaoqing said to Zhang Zhong very unwillingly. Zhang Zhong glared at him and said, "Who let you come up? You have your own wooden rafts, and you still want to squeeze in? Everyone is counted. Every person who comes up has to pay 50 strings of coins. Your things and money are just for you to use." 10 strings of coins per person? My family of more than 60 people is more than 3,000 strings of coins? Sir, we don't have money. Lu Shaoqing didn't expect Zhang Zhong to be so ruthless. He said they're feeling wronged. "If you don't have money, then write a promissory note. Owe it first and pay it back later. Do you want to write it?" Zhang Zhong asked with a sullen face. "Yes, sir. If you want to write it, then we'll write it." Chow Herue sat on the side as if he had accepted his fate. Owing money was better than being kicked out. Staying alive was more important. The other three people didn't want to resist. They followed Zhang Zhong to a shed. Someone had already prepared the ink, pen, and paper, waiting for them to write. The four people's hearts were bleeding. Their hands trembled as they wrote the promissory note. After writing it, Chow Herue asked Zhang Zhong, "Sir, the things are here. Can we eat?" Chapter 436. The heavy rain stopped after 3 days, but the flood raged for another 5 days. Zhang Zhong finally collapsed from exhaustion. Fortunately, there was no life-threatening situation. He lay there snoring, and no one would disturb him. Everyone looked at Zhang Zhong with special expressions. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had also lost weight. The two of them had just woken up and were eating and drinking. They put the roasted meat into their mouths and chewed. There was also wine beside them, which they would occasionally take small sips of. There were now more than 20,000 people living on this piece of land made up of wooden rafts. Other than the people from their own province, there were also people from other provinces who had rushed over, as well as the mountain residents. The mountain residents were not so xenophobic now. They knew who had saved them, so they helped out a little these days. The sun came out, and the dark clouds finally dispersed. When the first ray of sunlight shone down, some of the people who had lost their loved ones cried softly, some were silent, and some were sitting there looking at the surrounding scenery in a daze. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were full. They stood on the wooden raft and looked up at the sun. Zhang Xiaobao shouted, "We made it through. When the water recedes, we will begin to build our new home. The Zhang family will pay for it. Those who are willing to stay can get a piece of land here." With his shout, the local people were happy. Those who had been saved temporarily put down their grief. After all, they were still alive, so they could not beg others to give them happiness. After the flood passed, there was still a new life. Most people were willing to stay. Some people even wanted to go home and see if there was anyone. If there was, they would come here. If there was no one, they would pack up their things and come back. At this time, the mountain residents did not know how to choose. They did not speak the language here, and there were only a few people in each tribe who could speak the local language. Seeing that the people here were preparing to rebuild and thinking about the days on the mountain, some mountain residents also wanted to stay, but they were afraid that the people here would not agree. According to the tribe, these mountain people gathered together and began to discuss. In the past few days, they already knew that the mountain people who went down the mountain for the first time would receive a lot of things. After some discussion, someone who was good at talking found Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong was still asleep when he was woken up by the mountain people. He rubbed his eyes and looked puzzled. "My lord, we're going to stay behind. We'll also send people to look for those who haven't been washed down the mountain. Will my lord go back on his word and give us those things? Also, we don't know how to farm. Can you send someone to teach us?" The mountain man asked Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong came to his senses. When he heard that the mountain man was willing to leave the mountain, he nodded. "Of course. But I can't give you those now. Wait for them to be delivered from elsewhere. As you can see, there's nothing left here. Everyone, hold on a little longer. Don't worry about farming. This province has a lot of empty land. Not only will I send people to teach you how to farm, I'll also teach you how to speak the local language and recognize the words here. You don't have to pay any rent this year, so just live a good life here." "Thank you, my lord. I'll go talk to them now. It's fine if they give us fewer things first. As long as we can eat, we won't ask for so much. My lord, can you really teach us how to read and write?" Others looked down on us. The mountain people were very happy. "You're not mountain people. You're all citizens under my rule. Go and talk to them quickly. It'll be fine when the time comes. At this time next year, I guarantee that you'll all have new houses to live in, new clothes to wear, and meat to eat every day. 1 year. Just give me 1 year, and I'll be able to do it." Zhang Zhong promised. He had the confidence that others couldn't do it. If his family wanted the money and goods, it would be very easy for them to build a new place. The mountain people happily left and returned to their tribe to tell others. The other mountain people also came over one after another. Zhang Zhong repeated what he had just said and answered each and every one of them correctly. Only then did he eat the food that was brought over. It was very simple. It was braised pork with rice and some salted vegetables. Zhang Zhong ate very happily. He had solved a big problem. He then looked at the higher ground and saw the traces left behind by the receding water. He said to the people beside him, "Now there's fertility. Let's first plant the rice that my family brought and see how it grows here. Then we'll plant the white fold seeds. As long as the white fold seeds grow, we won't have to worry about money anymore." Master is right. The things made from the white fold seeds will definitely be bought by people who are willing to pay a high price. The rarer something is, the more valuable it is. Also, the sea fish here can be made into salted fish and shipped over by ship. We can sell them for a good price. Not only can we eat the fish, but we can also use it as salt. Zhang Zhong and the people around him echoed. They were full of yearning for the future of this place. They had settled down and were only waiting for the water to recede. When the time came, they could start the construction. The surrounding provinces were not in such a good mood. One by one, the provincial governors wrote down the disaster that had happened to their province and sent a memorial to ask for forgiveness. The military couriers and horses were fast. It wouldn't take too long for the documents to be sent back. Whether they lived or died would depend on the emperor's decision. Zhang Zhong also wrote a memorial, but he didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't think that he was guilty. He had just arrived and didn't have time to do anything before the flood came. If he was given half a year, he would definitely be able to fix the irrigation works. He only wrote down the disaster situation here. At the same time, he also wrote down the preparation work this time in the memorial. In the whole province, after the flood, the statistics showed that only 121 people died. Those who went missing were considered dead. His subordinates searched a large area, but they still couldn't find them. Basically, there was no possibility of survival. When they were washed into the sea, even if they didn't drown, they would die of dehydration or even be eaten by some fish. This loss made him very sad, but there was no other way. He had done what he had to do. His family also suffered a lot of losses. 12 of the 18 ships were damaged. Fortunately, they didn't sink. They were all stranded. A lot of water entered some of them, which was because they hit the reef. Some were stranded on the beach. This was easy to deal with. He just had to ask someone to get them into the water. The money borrowed and the materials paid for in installments couldn't be recovered. A lot of the things on the ships were also consumed, including the repair of the ships. In half a month, his family lost more than 50,000 strings of coins. If it were an ordinary rich person, they would have gone crazy. However, the Zhang family and Wang family were indifferent. The loss was bad, but it didn't affect the foundation of the family. The profitable business was in the capital. The reaction of the two families made Lu Shaoqing and the other three very depressed. They hoped that more people would die, but only 100 or so died. They hoped that the Zhang family and Wang family would be sad about the loss of money, but the two families didn't have any reaction. It was as if the loss wasn't tens of thousands of strings of coins, but just a few copper coins. What made them even more uncomfortable was that the family's money was all gone, and they still owed a lot of debts. The least owed was 3,000 strings of coins, and the most was more than 4,000 strings of coins. How were they going to pay it back? It seemed that they could only slowly pay it back from the Yongya field. There was also the salary that should be given. Zhang Zhong said that only enough money was left for their family to eat and wear clothes. The rest was to be collected in debt. As for the servants in the family, they could be sent out to do some work outside to support themselves. They wanted to see if they could still be as arrogant as before. The four of them didn't dare to say anything. Now was not the time when they threatened the provincial governor's life. Now that their lives were in danger, no matter what Zhang Zhong said, they nodded and agreed. After another 2 days, the water receded, and all the wooden rafts fell to the ground. Zhang Zhong began to get busy. He had people dismantle the wooden rafts and some trees that had washed down. He began to build houses. The ground only needed to be plowed a little. He planted the rice seedlings and cotton seedlings that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sent out. Li Sun also got busy. He first wrote a letter to his father to report that he was safe. He also sent 150 guards to help, leaving only 50 people to be responsible for the safety of Zhang family and his family. After a few days of work, the second batch of 10 ships sent out from the capital arrived. When they arrived, they didn't know about the situation here. They didn't carry any food. They only carried some handmade products, cloth, and some frozen mutton. There was still some food in the local area. The ships that could move had already sailed along the sea to Zhejiang and Hangzhou, preparing to buy food there. The mutton from the new ships became good food here. The handmade products could also be used, and the cloth could be used to build tents. The flood had caused the other provinces to suffer heavy losses. It had increased Luzhou's population to more than 20,000 people. Some of them were sent to the seaside to dry the salt. This was the first time the people in charge of drying the salt had seen such a method. All they had to do was dig some ponds, and they would be able to produce a large amount of salt if there were any crystals in them. When they found out that they could produce a large amount of salt quickly, they became more confident about the future. With salt, there was money. This matter couldn't be kept a secret. Lianzhou, Sumaozhou, and Xianan province, which was further west, also found out about this matter. They were surprised and sent people to inquire about it. Zhang Zhong received the people from several provinces and told them the method of drying the salt in detail. He had already written the method in a booklet and sent it to his superiors. Xiaobao, it seems that many of the plans have to be postponed. At this time, there was a flood. Wait for us for a few months. By then, everything will be stable. Seriously, Wang Wan said sullenly as she put the plan she and Zhang Xiaobao had prepared on the table. The flood had disrupted the rhythm of the two of them, and people had died. This kind of thing was very difficult to accept. Zhang Xiaobao was also depressed. Although it was only a few months, the overall delay was much more, especially the construction of the docks. They had to start from scratch. Naturally, it was the same for the docks. Everyone was building houses and farming. How could they have time to build docks? I can accept the delay. However, when several provinces are affected at the same time, it will be difficult to sell our goods. How can we have spare money to buy goods from capital? In a while, I will ask people to form a large number of caravans. If we can't sell them, we will buy as much as we can. After buying the goods here, we will ship them to the capital to sell. We can also sell some in Kaifeng. When the surrounding provinces have money, won't they develop faster? Chapter 437. Spreading the news between the clouds and the water free. Once Zhang Xiaobao made up his mind, the Zhang family's money was spent like flowing water. The people in the province finally knew how wealthy the great governor was. He spent a shocking amount of money. He bought marine products and local specialties from the mountains from their own province, bought them from other provinces, and had the other provinces form their own caravans to send the goods over. The road was not easy to travel on. The roads in their own province were repaired first, and the roads in other provinces were repaired by others. Otherwise, they would not be able to buy anything. Merchants were indeed different. Even though they had encountered a flood, there were still many capable merchants who were willing to spend money to buy local specialties. Then they would pay to repair the roads and send people to deliver the goods. The Zhang family spent thousands of strings of coins every day. They spent a month, but nothing happened to the Zhang family. The new fleet transported 30,000 strings of coins. Together with the original fleet, they could still spend another month and a half. Countless people were shocked. Countless merchants who came over were jealous. They began to send people to the capital to find out who this new provincial governor Zhang was. The people, on the other hand, were happy. They could fish in the sea and sell their goods. They were paid for their work, and they could use the money to buy the goods unloaded from the ships. The main reason was that the people were not worried that the great governor would be greedy and increase their taxes. With the great governor's wealth, he would not care about the small amount of taxes they paid. More than 20,000 people were tied into a rope. They had fought side by side in the flood, and now they were building together. No one was lazy. Each of them exerted all their strength, hoping to see a new Luzhou. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan began to get busy again. Every day, data was sent to them from various places. Wang Wan was in charge of the manpower, while Zhang Xiaobao was in charge of the accounts. Then, the two of them combined the new plans and details and sent them to Zhang Zhong. Then, Zhang Zhong would issue orders one after another. No one questioned Zhang Zhong's orders, and every plan was firmly carried out. Everyone was united in building their new home. Such a situation was rare elsewhere, but miraculously, it happened in Luzhou. The people in the surrounding provinces, who were also affected by the disaster, were envious and jealous. They did not have many talents. The disasters in other provinces were not as light as Luzhou's. Moreover, they had made preparations in advance. There was a loss of population. In some provinces, even the county magistrate and the others had drowned. Most of Luzhou's people were still around. There were also those from the inner court who learned from the Zhang family and the Wang family. Although there were too many of them, it was not a problem for each of them to command hundreds of people to complete a project. Under such circumstances, Luzhou's construction progress changed day by day. Every 3 days, Zhang Zhong would write a report on the construction progress in the province according to his son's instructions and submit it to the military station. It kept the military station very busy. Between the clouds and the water, Sanshui County. In the pavilion in the water, two people were sitting opposite each other, drinking tea. There were a few letters on the table. The old man was reading a letter in his hand. Lu Jiro slowly drank her tea. After the old man finished reading the letter, she said to the old man, "Brother Zhang, you've been reading the letter for a long time. Old minister, what do you think? Do you see it? This is the ability of the Zhang family. So many provinces were affected together, but Luzhou was the one who suffered the most. All the water flowed to him. What's the result? In the end, only 100 or so of them died. He had just arrived at that place and didn't even have the time to do anything when he encountered such a huge disaster. If it were someone else, Luzhou would have to go to 9 out of 10 households. It seems like it was the right decision to send him there. Otherwise, that place would be in danger." The old man said with emotion. He knew when Zhang Zhong had arrived. He had just arrived. In just a few days, the government affairs had not been sorted out yet, and a great disaster had fallen on his head. However, it was such an unbelievable young provincial governor who had withstood the sudden great disaster and reduced the losses to a minimum. Lu Jiro had the same idea. She patted the letter and said, "Amazing. The emperor is very happy. He said that Zhang Zhong can be in charge of a province, so he has no worries." However, LV Yenzhou was angry. He didn't know that Zhang Zhong wanted to go there himself. He thought it was him who sent him there. He didn't expect that not only did Zhang Zhong not suffer any losses there, but he also shocked the whole court. Many people asked the emperor to transfer Zhang Zhong back, saying that it was a pity to leave him there, and that Zhang Zhong should be given a higher official position. Fortunately, the emperor knew the Zhang family's thoughts. He didn't listen to them. Instead, he said that only Zhang Zhong could build that place, and he would talk about it later. So, he suppressed the matter of transferring him back. Haha, what do you think? Do you miss those two kids? Hearing Lu Jiro's words, the old man was also happy. He didn't expect that the expert behind the Zhang family was so powerful. He nodded and said, "Yes, the two kids wrote me a letter a few days ago, asking me to take care of myself and wait for Luzhou to finish the construction. They said that they would take my family there to play. Unfortunately, it's too far away, so I can't see them. I even dreamed of them at night." The old man thought of Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. As he spoke, tears flowed down his face. In fact, Lu Jiro also thought about it. She didn't think about the two kids, but the things of the Zhang family. Now that they were there, no one was watching them. She didn't know how many good things they could make. It was a pity that she couldn't leave the past. Otherwise, if she really wanted to follow them, she would be able to get something good. "Old minister, why don't you go and have a look now? Take your family there and meet Zhang Jiling along the way. Zhang Jiling is raising pigeons to play with. Send people to learn from the two little guys." Hehe. Lu Jiro began to persuade the old man. The old man thought for a while, gritted his teeth, and said, "Okay, Then I'll go and have a look. I can help. Chapter 438. CC, I ask you, why are you so blue? The sea answers with a smile. I hold the blue sky in my arms. Xiaobao, we have to have a heart like the sea. We have to understand tolerance and forgiveness. I don't know if Uzi has forgotten that today is the day we collect money from Lu Xiaoqing and the others. We collect every half a month. They don't have anything to do usually, so they help copy books and do some embroidery for their families. Slowly, they pay back the money. Wang Wan stood on the boat, moving up and down with the waves. She opened her arms, looking for feelings like the sea. Zhang Xiaobao nodded in agreement. He also felt that his heart had broadened, like the sea, like the blue sky, letting the seagulls fly freely. When he heard Wang Wan's last words, he said, the four of them actually signed a death contract with their servants. You don't say, when there are so many of them, they can do some small business together. This is the fourth time they've paid back their debt, right? Last time, Lu Xiaoqing's family paid back 30 strings of cash. That's quite a lot. I reckon that his family can keep some for themselves and wait until they feel that it's about time to pay back the money. According to this, it should be about a few years. There's also the salary and the Yongya field. The rice we brought here is growing well, and the output should be higher than the original one here. The sunshine here is long, and our seed species grows slowly. It's estimated that the local species can only grow 3 times a year, but we can only grow 2 times a year. I don't know if this species can adapt. The taste of the rice is better, and the price is higher. The 4 of them have also planted it in their fields. What should we do? Zhang Xiaobao was worried. He knew that the 4 of them had done a lot of bad things, but he couldn't find any evidence. Zhang Xiaobao really wanted to use the original method. As long as he believed that the person had committed a crime and the person himself knew it, then he would convict him. However, if he did so, it would gradually breed a kind of desire when judging people, and it would be easy for him to lose himself. He and Wang Wan didn't want to do that. They wanted to enjoy life and not always struggle in the struggle for power. Therefore, when they couldn't find any evidence, the 2 of them adopted a method to collect debts. They wanted to let the 4 people who had once caused harm to the local people and their families have a taste of the feeling of not being able to live in peace. Wang Wan was also clear on this matter. If this continued, the 4 of them would be able to pay off their debt in a few years. Then they could continue to be carefree. She thought about it and said, this won't do. We have to think of a way. Dahai should have many ideas in his mind, such as strong winds, torrential rain, and tsunamis. All right, let's not talk about how vile the sea is. I was too busy back then and actually forgot to write down the interest rate when I was writing down the agreement. If I had written down the interest rate, it would have been 90% to 13%. Month by month, the interest would have accumulated and they would never be able to pay it back in their lifetime. Let's not think about it for now and slowly pay it back. Let's fish. Zhang Xiaobao put the bait on the fishing rod and threw it into the water, letting the boat float on the sea. Wang Wan used the clairvoyance to look at the scenery in the sea again. She also wanted to see if there were any strange fish jumping out of the sea at this time. While looking, Wang Wan suddenly said to Zhang Xiaobao, Xiaobao, let's go back quickly. Next time, get someone to bring a bigger boat. Each of us has an oar. Quickly row. Wang Wan sat next to Zhang Xiaobao, grabbed the oar, and started rowing with all her might. Zhang Xiaobao didn't care about the fishing rod and followed suit. Fortunately, it's not far from the shore. Otherwise, it would be a contribution to the marine life. The 2 of them rowed to a place in shallow water and breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. There was a shark that turned around and went back. Damn shark. Tomorrow, get someone to catch 2 more. Keep the shark fins. We'll eat the meat first. The shark skin can be eaten too. Don't swimmers wear imitation shark skin clothes? Let's do it for real. The bones are delicious too. In short, the whole body is good stuff, especially good seasonings. It can even be used to make decorations. Zhang Xiaobao said with lingering fear. He didn't think that he and Wang Wan could deal with a shark in the sea with only a fishing rod. If they were really caught, only one of them could escape. Looking at the shark leisurely moving away, he was angry and scared. Wang Wan was also very angry. She didn't care about protection anymore and said, "We must kill more. Prepare 2 sets of clothes for each member of our Team 0. We're not an animal protection association. There are so many sharks. Why don't we kill them? Also, get a big boat to kill whales in the future. With our technology, we won't be able to kill enough even if we kill for 10,000 years. Sea creatures are all treasures. It would be a pity if we don't get some. Forget about dolphins, I can't do that. But we can think of a way to raise some in our bay. Do you know how to do that?" "No, this knowledge is too profound, but we can give it a try. For example, we can find someone to play the piano in the bay, forbid fishing in the bay, and make some fun balls that can float on the water. Maybe we can attract dolphins. Who knows?" Zhang Xiaobao also had a good impression of dolphins. He used to let people raise them at home. Now that he was here, he also wanted to make a big pond and connect it to the sea to attract dolphins. Just like the swallows at home, after the dolphins were familiar, they would swim over to take a look when they had nothing to do. They would play with people for a while and eat some small fish. Wang Wan shook her head regretfully. She also didn't know how to do it. She could only try according to Zhang Xiaobao's words. She didn't know whether it would succeed or not. But when she thought that people here also knew how to catch dolphins, she suggested, "When we go back, let your father make an announcement that dolphins are not to be caught anymore." "Okay, that's easy. The locals are more obedient. Whatever my father says is what it is. Let's go home and do something." Zhang Xiaobao didn't want to take any more risks. Not only for himself, but also for his family. If something happened to him and Wang Wan, what would happen to the 2 families? "What are you going to do?" Wang Wan jumped off the boat. Naturally, there were people in charge of setting up the boat. She asked curiously, "You will know when we go back. It's about making money. It's very profitable." Zhang Xiaobao said happily and walked to the car, waiting for the 2 people in front. Selling cakes. Who wants to buy cakes? Selling them at a cheap price. There was a marketplace beside the road that had just been repaired in the state capital. 4 or 5 people were standing there. They were using wooden hammers to hit the cooked glutinous rice back and forth while shouting to the people passing by. "How much?" A little boy and a little girl were attracted when they passed by. Looking at the cakes with bean flour, they were a little greedy. The little boy touched the 2 copper coins that he had just earned and raised his head to ask. 2 copper coins for 3. The seller stretched out 2 fingers and then changed it to 3. He gestured with his fingers. "What is this? It's too expensive. I don't want to buy it. 2 copper coins can buy 2 big sugar figurines." Without waiting for the boy to speak, the girl pulled the boy to another place. 1 copper coin for 2. The seller helplessly lowered the price. The girl stopped and pulled the boy back. Looking at the cakes, she said to the seller, "Give us more bean flour, or we won't buy it. We will buy 2. If you don't want to buy, then get out of here." The seller finally couldn't bear it and shouted at the girl. The girl wasn't afraid at all. She pointed at the seller and said, "Are you trying to scare me? I know who you are. You are Lu Shaoqing's servants. I will go to the government office to report you. Now is not the time for Lu Shaoqing to be arrogant. Come, let's go to the government office." The girl pulled the boy and walked away. The seller was shocked and quickly ran to stop them. "Let's talk nicely. 1 copper coin for 3. Give more face to the bean, okay? We don't have money. We want to eat more. 2 each." The girl was insatiable. The seller pulled a long face and said, "Aren't you bullying me? Why don't you pay for things?" "Yes, who doesn't pay for things? My family used to have a bun shop. You went there a few times, but did you pay? It's not enough for you to eat, and you want to take a whole tray with you. Are you going to give it to me?" The girl's eyes were red and tears were rolling in her eyes. Yes, it's karma. I admit it. 2 for each. Put more bean flour, right? Come, I'll give it to you." The seller couldn't say anything else. He knew what he had done. "Brother Mu, give him 1 copper coin. We're not like him. We're good people. Bargaining is one thing, but you can't rob us. 2, put more bean noodles." The girl wiped her eyes with her sleeve and still chose to buy 2 for 1 copper coin. Seeing the 2 children each take a piece of lamb and leave, the seller stood there speechless for a long time. The 2 children ate the cakes in small mouthfuls. The boy said to the girl, "Tomorrow, continue to help deliver water. You help to light the fire. Then you can earn 2 more copper coins. Buy some cakes for our 2 families to try." "Well, this just started today. I'm late. The other children can only earn 3 copper coins at most. Actually, we can help for free. I don't know why they have to give us money." The girl licked the bean flour and said happily, "I know. The good official said that we can't go to school because we don't have a school now. We can go to school when the school is built. Now, we help deliver water and light the fire. They give us money to let us know that we will be rewarded if we work hard. Heaven rewards the diligent." The boy went a little earlier and heard this. The girl didn't know what heaven rewards the diligent meant. She nodded and said regretfully, "Then, when we go to school in the future, will we have to spend a lot of money? Can we not go?" "You can't not go. You don't need to spend money to go to school. As long as you are a child from our province, you don't need to spend a single copper coin. If you are from a far place, you can live and eat. I asked around today. Let's go to school together." The boy was very happy when he talked about this. "Even a girl needs to go?" "Yes, as long as you are a child from our province. I heard that even the stupid ones need to go." The good official paid for it himself. The boy told the girl what he had heard. Chapter 439. When night fell, a bright moon rose from the sea. Some people fell asleep, while others were still working with torches. It had been 2 months since the flood, and all the residential areas had been repaired. Rice, vegetables, and cotton had been planted, and some of the vegetables had grown and were ready to be eaten. The roads in the residential areas were repaired, and people were working at the docks. Some roads leading to the surrounding provinces were also being repaired. The laborers only rested for 8 hours a day, including the time they had to eat. They worked in shifts to build their own homes. While the other provinces were still waiting for the relief food to arrive, Lu Zhou had already sold a lot of goods. He directly traveled from Zhujiang to Hangzhou to Shandong. Zhang Xiaobao was not stupid enough to sell fish and prawns there. He sold some specialties from the mountains that were not available there, so he bought a lot of food from there. Part of it was reserved for the people, and the rest was sent to the surrounding provinces. He used the food to hire people to build roads and bridges. The other 5 provinces were not as kind as the Zhang family. Even though the provincial governor of Qin province was from a big family and had always been in Qin province, his family would not fork out so much money to build roads or buy food. They were all waiting for the imperial court to come to their rescue. Even Xian and province, which was slightly further away, was also affected by the disaster. The provincial governor did not fork out his own money either. Since the imperial court did not fork out money, the people had to find their own way. They could not starve to death. Without food, they ate some tree bark, wild vegetables, and other things to get by. The 3 provinces next to the sea were eating fish. They worked while eating. When they had collected enough specialties from the mountains and caught enough fish, they would form a caravan and come to Lu Zhou to trade for food and daily necessities. Zhang Zhong did not deliberately lower the price. He traded at the usual market price. It had been 2 months. Now, the Zhang family had gotten rid of the situation where they could not make ends meet. They began to sell the goods they collected. They also sent ships to deliver the dried salted fish to the capital. In another month, the dried salted fish would be profitable. It could be said that Lu Zhou had relied on the strength of Zhang Xiaobao's family to prop up the 6 provinces. He had given the people in the 6 provinces a way to survive. Once the food was replenished, the other 5 provinces could take a breather. For a time, Zhang Zhong's reputation was second to none in the 6 prefectures. Almost every family had set up a longevity shrine for him. The people of the 5 prefectures had recovered slightly and were able to eat their fill. The mountain products, fish that were salvaged, and the tributes that were offered increased. Only then did the merchants outside and the local merchants begin to purchase them. They offered the same price as Zhang Zhong. They had considered the cost of transportation and thought the people would sell the goods to them. However, the people had already approved of Lu Zhou's deal. When they had the goods, they formed a caravan and came to trade with the Zhang family. Zhang Xiaobao checked the accounts. Then, he looked at Wang Wan and said, "This is great. The 6 provinces are affected by the disaster. All the taxes and taxes this year are waived. The provincial capitals can't collect the goods at all. The people are working harder than before, and the goods are flowing to our province. All the good goods here will be stopped from now on. Now, the price of goods in the capital and other places should be doubled. The east of Lingnan Circuit is Guangzhou. The east of Jiangnan Circuit is Jiangnan Circuit, which is Zhujiang and Fujian Circuit. When our fleet came and went, we also bought a lot of coastal specialties. Fortunately, we sold some of the goods. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a single copper coin. Let's see how many times the goods will increase this winter. You said that my family is stupid. Let's see who's the fool when the time comes. As long as the family has money, we'll stock up on the goods. If we don't earn 5 times the money, it'll be intolerable." Wang Wan knew Zhang Xiaobao had been waiting for this day ever since the flood. After losing so much money, it was not Zhang Xiaobao's character to not think of a way to earn it back. When she thought about the things in the warehouse that were about to become very valuable, she was very happy. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Should we ship them to more remote places like the Turks and Tufan?" "No, those places aren't suitable for us. We'll sell them to some people and let them sell the goods there. The price will be higher, and we can't sell too much. We'll just sell them a portion of the goods. We'll spread the news that there's a lot of goods here. We'll ask the people from those 2 places to bring their local specialties to trade. When they come, we'll do our best to push down the price of their goods. We'll raise the price to a level that is slightly lower than the price that those people sold to the Turks and Tufan. This way, the people from those 2 places will be able to earn money, but they won't be able to earn much. In order to get more benefits, they will continue to raise the price when they return. We can use a higher price to sell to those people who sold the goods from the Turks and Tufan. We'll bring the goods from the Turks and Tufan to the coastal area to sell. This way, we won't have to bear the risks when we go to those places. Others won't scold us for the high price of the goods. After all, the price will follow the market." Zhang Xiaobao explained the plan as if he was talking about a tongue twister. Wang Wan was not stupid. She understood. It was to use a small amount of precious goods to increase their own value. It would give people the impression that the goods they sold would follow the market price. But in reality, it was them who pushed the price up. When others were risking their lives to sell back and forth, the ones who earned the most were the suppliers, and not the middlemen. They used the selling price in other places to increase the price of the local goods, especially when there were many tribes competing with each other. This reminded Wang Wan of a time when they bought iron mines in China. Zhang Xiaobao knew that such a thing would happen. Therefore, he gathered all the goods in Zhuangzi and negotiated with the merchants outside at the same price. The reason was that it was a transaction. If they weren't willing to do it, then forget it. They could just look for merchants themselves. Wang Wan felt that this method was indeed good. Just as she was about to say something else, she suddenly reacted. She turned Zhang Xiaobao's face around and looked into his eyes. She asked, "Xiaobao, is this your entire plan?" Zhang Xiaobao blinked his eyes. "Of course not. It's not like you don't understand me. How can it be so simple? Our goods and the 2 places are not a transaction of money, but a transaction of goods. When the goods are shipped here, we can try to make it popular. You don't have to ask anymore. I will continue. This is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that after the value of the goods by the sea increases, the goods here will also increase. I plan to tell this news to the people in the surrounding prefectures. At the same time, I will increase the purchasing price and force the merchants in the surrounding areas to increase their prices. This way, the local people can earn more money. Those merchants who didn't help us in the past hate us, so let them hate us. What do you think will happen in the end? The result will be that our purchasing price will offend many merchants, and the people will earn money. Wang Wan added. At the same time, she also felt that this was the case. This was the Zhang Xiaobao she knew. As long as he had a plan, it would never be as simple as it seemed. It's not that simple. Think about it in the future. We are not afraid of offending people, but some merchants. We are also merchants. Why should we be afraid of them? When the people have money in their hands, they will naturally want to buy things. The goods shipped from Tubo and Tujue can be sold at a higher price. Zhang Xiaobao did not hide anything this time and told them about his plan. You can do that? Then, Xiaobao, tell me more. What's next? There must be more. Just like when you pushed Sanshui County to become a Shan County and joined the 7 counties to become a prefecture. Tell me quickly. How else are you going to calculate? I like to see you here plotting against others. Wang Wan's biggest hobby was to find out Zhang Xiaobao's plan. Compared to Zhang Xiaobao's plan, other people's plan of killing 2 birds with 1 stone was too simple. Zhang Xiaobao always made a move when others were confused. As long as he made a move, it would be the end. Zhang Xiaobao did not do this on purpose. It was mainly because when he was thinking about things, he would unnaturally combine things that could easily cause problems and things that were related to each other. It was just a habit. After hearing Wang Wan's question, he could only say, there is one more thing. Being enemies is not our goal. Instead of making enemies, it is better to make friends. When the time comes, I will reduce the amount of goods we buy and give a portion of the profits to other merchants. We will cooperate with them to do business in Tubo and Tujue. We have common interests outside, so we can reduce our conflicts here. As long as the profits from these 2 places are sufficient, they will definitely compromise and give in to us. My father's development will be much smoother, and we can even get them to invest. They have money, for example. The Ning clan of Ginku is only stronger than us, not weaker than us. It's just that their foresight for investment is lacking. Zhang Xiaobao wrote a few names on the paper. Wang Wan understood. These were all merchants in the form of clans. Any one of them could compete with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family in terms of wealth and power. The difference was that they had developed for a long time, while Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family had just risen. These clans were seeking stability. They were not as good as Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao used cash flow. If Zhang Xiaobao was given 100 strings of cash, he would dare to use the money as leverage. If he grasped the slightest opportunity, it would be a fulcrum. He could leverage a few hundred strings of cash. At this time, he was already restrained enough. He still knew how to develop his business. If it was in the past, he would have cheated all the way. No, he would have invested all the way. Wang Wan didn't want to admit it, but she had no choice but to admit that when Zhang Xiaobao came up with a plan, the way he moved the world with a wave of his hand and the light smile on his face was very charming. Perhaps the best thing that Li Longji did was to send Zhang Zhong here, so that when disaster struck, 6 provinces were saved. Perhaps the worst thing that Li Longji did was to send Zhang Zhong here. The main reason was that Zhang Xiaobao came along. The sky was high, and the emperor was far away. The sea was vast. Who would look after Zhang Xiaobao? Wherever he pointed, the sea and sky would change. Thinking of this, Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao, Xiaobao, you are a good person, right? You have extreme nationalistic thoughts, right? Cuckoo, do you think that I will betray the country? Don't worry, I won't. I am indeed a little nationalistic. But my people are not a single race. Just like our leaders' guards, they are a big family. Actually, I really have a backup plan. I will let these merchants be roped in and become spies for the Turks and Tibetans. Zhang Xiaobao said with a smile. Chapter 440. Wang Wan didn't understand what Zhang Xiaobao meant. She stared blankly at Zhang Xiaobao, waiting for Zhang Xiaobao's explanation. Zhang Xiaobao sighed and said, "Cuckoo, you know that I've never been worried about money. What I'm really worried about is the hearts of the people. Look at the villagers. They also have selfish motives, but they have signed an irrevocable contract. The master is good to them, so they have to be grateful and respectful. What really makes them not dare to rebel is not these 2 points, but my father's official position. Especially now, my father is a 4th-rank official. Most of the villagers of the Zhang family and Wang family are actually very good, but you can't make everyone like that. Only a small portion of them will be obedient under this kind of fear and gratitude." Is what you said true? There are really people who have other thoughts when they're living a good life? Wang Wan asked. It's not like you don't know what I used to do. It's such a big business. Do you think that everyone will obediently listen to me? I don't want to talk about it. I just want to keep that familial affection and warmth, but I cannot be on guard. Today, I'm telling you, but I don't want you to participate. I alone am enough. It's easy to deal with those with unstable thoughts. Not to mention that they don't have much ability. Back then, I had many capable people under me. Who would dare to betray me? Benefits and fear are enough. These kinds of small matters can be left to me. I don't need to worry about others. What I want to say is that the villagers are so simple, but there will be people who have other thoughts. Do you think that these businessmen will be so patriotic? When others say that it won't affect the interests of the country, they will comfort themselves. As long as they take a small step, they won't be able to turn back. I want them to be bought. This kind of person is easier to control after being bought. It's better than those foppish people. You forget how much effort the 2 of us put in to get him to tell the truth. And that was when he was injured, drunk, and at his weakest. Zhang Xiaobao finally said something that many people didn't know. Wang Wan exhaled. You've been controlling it all by yourself all these years? She still had to think about how to make money, how to provide for her family's basic necessities, and how to deal with various schemes. Xiaobao, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. You are too selfish. You don't need a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. It would be a waste for a peerless talent like you to participate in such a small matter. Leave it to me, and I'll clean it up as I play. How about this? I'll leave the matter of scheming to you in the future. You know how to do it too. There are only a few methods, and they're always the same. If you feel that it's boring, just reject it directly. Zhang Xiaobao didn't feel tired at all. In the past, he was in charge of such a large fraud group, and he also had to manage some secret investments in the country. He was also able to avoid capture. Now, this small matter was nothing. Wang Wan thought about it and finally agreed with Zhang Xiaobao's words. Tell me about your difficulties in the future, and I'll share them with you. This family doesn't belong to you alone. Okay, but this isn't a problem. I'll leave the matter of spying to you. The second bureau should have the ability to do so, Zhang Xiaobao promised. You're saying that we should send people to infiltrate? Then the people that we can trust the most are the people in the inner court, Wang Wan said after thinking about it. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head helplessly. Is your second bureau that poor? Must you put your own people in such a dangerous place? Just spend money. Bribe the subordinates of these businessmen. Some of them might take the money to send false information, but with enough people, there will always be real information in front of us. Then I'll go arrange it. First, let those businessmen come over, then give them some benefits. I'll make your father appear very strong. Only then will he not be suspected. Wang Wan understood and said happily. Under such beautiful moonlight, many people had no intention of sleeping. Some people were working hard, and some people were telling their children about the past and the present. There were also people who gathered together to think of bad ideas. In a renovated house, Chow Herue was in front of a bowl of tea brewed from an unknown leaf. There was salt, sugar, vinegar, chopped green onions, ginger, and even a few pieces of garlic that were cut into slices and boiled together. When the tea was almost done, Chow Harue poured a bowl for the other 3 people sitting next to him. He picked up a bit of coriander and put it in the bowl. He took a sip and said to the other 3 people, "According to this situation, if we want to pay off the debt, it will take at least 10 years. Zhang Zhong's lousy seeds grow so slowly, but someone actually listened to him and planted a lot of white rice. Could it be that they want to sell flowers? Fortunately, we were careful and didn't plant those flowers. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to pay it back in 20 years. I've already thought about it. After planting the rice this time, I'll plant the rice next year. At that time, I'll say that I planted the wrong one. Zhang Zhong can't make me pluck it, right?" The other 3 people nodded. They were also almost unable to bear the pressure of being forced to pay off the debt. Everyone in their family had gone out to do business, and they still had to copy books or write some simple annotations of the Analects of Confucius. Their family members were not idle and were all working. They had never thought about this kind of thing before, but now it had fallen on them, especially Lu Shaoqing. He had found the method of making cakes in the book with great difficulty. He thought that with this, he could get more money and pay off the debt first. Who knew that after a day of selling, he only earned about 100 coins. Everyone could bargain. The people sent out were used to bullying people. How could they bargain? As long as they felt that they were not losing money, they would agree to sell. This kind of income was beyond Lu Shaoqing's imagination. He thought that with the things that had just come out, he could earn a few coins in a day, and even more in the future. After all, this thing was not supposed to appear here. He had looked up a lot of books before he found it. Thinking of this, Lu Shaoqing said sullenly, "We still have to find Governor Ning and tell him the situation here." Beside him, Fan Jianqi, who was also drinking tea, said, "You can find him, but we don't need to talk about the things here. I think the surrounding places all know about the things here, especially Zhang Zhong's original place. They must know more than us. It is useless for us to talk about it. It is better to go directly and surrender. There is one more thing I want to say. Brother Lu's family has a new thing, cakes. I later looked it up and knew that it was made on the other side of the sea. Since there is such a thing, why don't you discuss it with the 3 of us? How much can you sell by just setting up a stall? Look at what Zhang Zhong's family does. They always set up many stalls at the same time. Brother Lu, don't hide it. Tell the 3 of us the detailed method. Tomorrow, each family will set up 10 stalls. In this way, as long as the price is fixed, you don't have to worry about the less money." After Fan Jianqi said this, the other 2 also looked at Lu Shaoqing and waited for his reply. Lu Shaoqing actually didn't want to hand over the recipe. He thought that it was very difficult to find this recipe. If he gave it to others, it would be a loss. However, looking at the 3 people's attitude, if he didn't hand it over, he would be isolated in the future. He had to nod and say, "This is actually very simple. Just use steamed or boiled glutinous rice, and use a wooden hammer to beat it back and forth repeatedly. Finally, just sprinkle some bean flour. Since the 3 of you all want to do it, tomorrow morning, each of our 4 families will take up 4 places." The other 3 were satisfied. They all smiled and drank the tea. However, as they drank, Jiang Huancher was not satisfied again. She said to the 3 of them, "Do you know where Zhang Zhong got the money these days? I have sent someone to inquire. It is from selling tea. His tea is different from ours. The people I sent out have tasted it. They said that the taste is lighter than ours, but also stronger than ours. The lighter taste is due to some salt and ginger, while the stronger taste is due to the tea leaves. Our tea is gone after 1 taste. His tea is not directly drunk, but continuously soaked with water. The best tea can be soaked 7 or 8 times and still have the taste. The worst tea can only be soaked 3 or 4 times. Do you know how much it costs to buy the worst tea? It is not calculated by caddy or tael. It is calculated by money. 1 tael costs 2 strings of coins. He only sells half a caddy every day. People are crazy about it. It can be said that there is a price, but no market. The three of them really didn't know about this. When they heard Jiang Huanshi's words, they all became excited. They usually drank a lot of tea. If it was expensive, of course, they also drank a lot of tea. However, they definitely couldn't sell it at such a price. What kind of tea could be so expensive? Even if they didn't want to believe it, they still looked at Jiang Huanshi curiously. Jiang Huanshi liked this feeling very much. She smiled, took another sip of tea, spat it out deliberately, and said to the three of them, "This is what I want to say. I heard that their tea is also picked in Kaifeng, Chuzhou, Zhejiang, and Hangzhou, but the way to make it is different. Our tea is made into a tea ball. The quality of the tea depends on the timing of making the tea ball and picking the tea. On the other hand, they directly sent someone to buy the tender tea and made it after they came back. I don't know how they made it, but it is better than the one we drink. The taste is also different. It is light, but with a strong taste. What do you think will happen if we tell this to Tang, governor of Ning? Tang, governor of Ning, must be very angry about this flood. Usually it would be fine. Everyone is the same. However, Zhang Zhong did something he shouldn't have done. He saved the people of Luzhou. As long as we tell him about this, we can help to plan." Jiang Huanshi laughed heartily at the end of her words. The other three people were stunned for a moment, but they also laughed. Chapter 441. As the sea breeze blew, the canals were dug to create flowing water. The 100,000 mountains gave birth to many things, and the rain gathered. Luzhou was in danger. Zhang Zhong planned to stay in Luzhou for another 2 years. He was worried that there would be another heavy rain next year or in a few days, so he ordered people to dig the canals in advance. There were some small rivers in the province, but they were too small. Behind them was the 100,000 mountains. Usually, they provided the people with many trees, fruits, meat, and furs. The flood this time also provided the province with a lot of water. If there was a big river there, it would not have been washed away so thoroughly. Zhang Zhong planned to build 2 big rivers to connect to the mountains. There, he could get the spring water and rainwater from the mountains. When there was another heavy rain, the water would not be saturated before it rushed out. Instead, it would flow directly into the sea through the 2 rivers. Then, he would build a few tributaries that connected the 2 rivers to the mountains. When the time came, all he had to do was to protect the banks of the 2 rivers. Even if he was no longer an official here in the future, as long as the new official was not a fool, he would understand the function of the 2 rivers. In addition to reducing losses during floods, the 2 rivers also served another purpose, which was to allow the mountain dwellers, or those who hadn't come out of the mountains, to transport things out of the mountains faster. When Zhang Zhong's order was passed down, the people did not object or question it. They immediately threw themselves into the project. The children helped with the fire, water, and food. In order to save time, the people did not need so many dishes. The more convenient, the better. Zhang Zhong initially wanted to provide meat, vegetables, and rice for every meal. However, for the first time, the people were disobedient. They refused to do anything and did not have time to stop and eat. In the end, Zhang Xiaobao came up with an idea. They would spread pancakes, stir-fry shredded meat, stir-fry shredded vegetables, smear sauce on them, put some pickles, and a green onion in them. If there were people who wanted to eat seafood, he would put some crabs and sea hares. The people liked to eat such things. In this way, they would not waste too much time. When they were thirsty, they could drink water. When they were hungry, they could grab one and eat it. If it was not because it was difficult to steam the dough, Zhang Xiaobao wanted to give these people steamed buns. Later on, he realized that it didn't work. The rolls could be eaten when they were cold, but the oil inside the buns would coagulate when they were cold. There was no fixed time for food like the burrito. The children ran back and forth between the various places where the burrito was made and the sections where they were working. When the workers were hungry, they would eat one burrito at a time. The good thing was that they didn't have to worry about not being able to work when they were full. With this method, everyone found that they could eat more. At the same time, they also had more energy to work. It wouldn't take too much time. A well-rolled pancake could be eaten in a few mouthfuls. The commoners were very happy that such a good official was considerate of them in this regard. When some people were happy, there would definitely be others who were unhappy. Lu Shaoqing and the other three were in a good mood in the morning, especially the other three who had obtained the recipe for making cakes. Each of them formed a small team and went outside to make cakes. In the end, only an hour later, bad news came. As soon as they arrived at the place where they sold cakes, they heard the sound of people hawking cakes. When they went over to take a look, they were all dumbfounded. There were already people selling cakes here. 1 copper coin for 3 cakes, and they were measured by weight. Not only were there glutinous rice cakes that they wanted to make, but there were also millet cakes. At the same time, there were also cakes with fillings, bean paste, white sugar, and jujubes. It could be said that there was a dazzling lineup and a variety of things. Especially the sellers, their clothes were very clean and tidy. Many people took out money to buy some cakes to try. The money was all from the various transactions with the Zhang family over the past 2 months, and a part of it was the wages. The people who were sent by Lu Shaoqing and the others to sell cakes did a little calculation and found that if they sold at this price, they would need to sell 30 copper coins in order to make 1 copper coin. They couldn't make much money in a day. These people had no choice but to come back and tell Lu Shaoqing and the others about the matter. I can't stand it anymore. Zhang Zhong's family is too much of a bully. I found the method of making cakes in a book with great difficulty, but they secretly learned it and even sent people to sell it. They clearly don't want us to pay back the money. Lu Shaoqing didn't need to ask to know that it was the Zhang family's doing. Only the Zhang family had the ability to find a recipe and spend a lot of effort. Besides the Zhang family, who else had the ability to make more cakes? Chao Hui sighed and said their reaction is too fast. They can make more cakes in 1 day. This shows that they already knew about it, but they didn't take it out. Everyone, think about it again. What else can we do to make money? I don't believe that they can learn to make everything. How could there be a good prescription? They don't want to give us a way out. Let's go, we'll leave in a while. We'll go to Qingzhou and tell Zhang Zhong there that he has a good recipe for making tea. Then we'll watch the 2 of them fight. Jiang Huanshi whispered to the 3 people. If they wanted to leave, they had to sneak away. There were people patrolling outside, so they were afraid that they would run away. However, there was a tunnel here that was dug a few years ago that led to the outside. After it was washed away by the flood, even if there was something blocking it, they could still dig it out. The 4 of them didn't have anyone to build a house for them, so they found a place to build it themselves. It turned out that this tunnel was Zhang Yi's outer residence, which was at the edge of Zhou Mansion. When the 4 of them came back, they didn't want to build a house for them, so they moved here. With Jiang Huanshi's suggestion, the other 3 also made up their minds. At worst, their families would help them out. They thought that Zhang Zhong wouldn't do anything to their families. They could only leave as the 4 of them. If all of them left together, it would be easy to be discovered. Just as the 4 of them made their decision, the guard of a large courtyard hurriedly ran in and said to Lu Shaoqing, "Master, the Zhang family has sent a steward. He says that he wants to see Master and discuss a business deal with Master." Discuss a business deal? What business deal? I don't have anything here. What does he want to discuss with me? When Lu Shaoqing heard the servant's words, his first thought was that Zhang Zhong had come to cause trouble again. After hesitating for a moment, he saw that the other 3 people also didn't understand. He said to the servant waiting there, "Let him in." Following the sound of footsteps, the 4 people looked over and saw that there were only 2 circles on the person's chest. Their expressions immediately turned ugly. The Zhang family actually sent a 2-star steward over. They knew this 2-star steward. 5 stars were the highest, according to their status. Even if they didn't send a 5-star, they should at least send a 4-star steward. This steward was only a 2-star steward. He was clearly looking down on them. Master Lu, I am here to discuss a business deal with Master Lu. I wonder if there is anyone in Master Lu's family who is free. The steward didn't show any flattering expression to Lu Shaoqing, nor did he look arrogant. It was just like two ordinary people who met on the street and talked to each other. Lu Shaoqing snorted coldly. Do you think that a two-star steward like you can make the decision? Bring your master here, then we can talk about it. The steward smiled. Master Lu, you have misunderstood. This is my own business deal. It has nothing to do with my master. You? Do business with me? Ha ha ha. Good, that's great. Did you hear that? A servant from the Zhang family came to do business with me. Tell me, what gives you the right? What gives you the right? Let's hear it. How can a servant do business with a judge? When Lu Shaoqing heard the steward's words, he couldn't hold it in anymore. He laughed out loud and pointed at the steward for the other three to see. The other three also laughed. Chao Hurue looked at the steward and said, "You better go back and do your work. Otherwise, if your master finds out about this, he will break your leg. This business deal isn't something you can do. You can't lie to us either. Listen to me and go back." After he finished speaking, the four of them also laughed. Only then did the person speak. I have 200 strings of coins myself. I can also borrow 200 strings of coins for my family. That's a total of 400 strings of coins. How much money do the four of you have? 400 strings of coins. As long as I do this business, I will earn more in the future. At that time, Master Lu will also earn more. Since Master Lu feels that I can't do business with you, then I will leave now. The steward turned around and left after saying that. The four of them were stunned. Lu Shaoqing quickly shouted, "Wait, where did you get the money from? What kind of business do you want to do? Tell us." The servants from the Zhang family are different from the servants in your family. Other than the monthly salary, they also get extra money. They don't need to spend their own money on food. The business I want to do with Master Lu is very simple. Master Lu will make prawn sauce for you. You will catch the prawns and get the salt yourself. If you have enough servants, you can catch a lot of prawns a day and put them in the jars. I will come back to collect them 1 month later and pay all the money. This time, I want to buy 200 jars of 20 jars. Each jar is 500 strings of coins. I will pay you 20 strings of coins first. If I do well this time, I will increase the number of jars next month. I will make money, and you will also make money. Master Lu, think about it. Do you want to do this business or not? If you want to do this business, you must produce 200 jars a month. Some of the prawn sauce can't be done when you deliver the goods. The steward stopped and told Lu Shaoqing about the matter. He looked at Lu Shaoqing and waited for his reply. Lu Shaoqing thought about it and looked at the other three people. He asked, "Can you tell me why you want to buy so much prawn sauce? What I do has nothing to do with Master. If Master agrees, I can do it. I don't have much capital. The 20 strings of coins is enough to buy the jars. Even if I don't come back to collect them 1 month later, Master will not compensate." The steward straightforwardly refused to ask what he wanted to do with the prawn sauce. Lu Shaoqing thought about it and gritted his teeth. He said, "Do it. What about the money? Let's write the agreement." He had thought it through. Even if the steward didn't come back to collect them in the end, he could sell the 200 jars of prawn sauce slowly. He wouldn't lose money. Seeing that Lu Shaoqing agreed, the steward turned around and walked out of the door. He and another person carried a box in. When the box was opened, there were exactly 20 strings of coins inside. It was more than 120 jars. One person couldn't carry it. Lu Shaoqing was also straightforward. He wrote the agreement and signed it on both sides. The deal was done. Chapter 442. Do you think that the servants of the Zhang family are doing this? Does Zhang Zhong know or not? After the people of the Zhang family left, Lu Shaoqing looked at the box of copper coins and asked the other three people, Although this deal was signed by him when he really wanted to do it, he naturally had to bring the other 3 families along. In order to pay off the debt, the 4 people had now put down their dignity. As long as it was something that made money, they would do it. After a month, they would make at least half of the money with 300 strings of coins. If they counted the free work of the servants in the family, they could make even more. No matter how they looked at it, this deal was not a loss. It was hard to figure out for a while. They were a little happy, but at the same time, they were uncertain. Chow Hurui walked around the box containing the money twice and said, "He probably doesn't know. Otherwise, why would he ask people to look for us? Even if they have fewer people, it's not too difficult to get some people. I always feel that something is going on here. The deposit has been given and the receipt has been written. Even if they don't accept it, it's the same if we sell it ourselves. We have to quickly get people to buy the jars and catch the prawns. Otherwise, if we can't send them out, we will have to compensate them." Lu Shaoqing really couldn't think of anything that could go wrong. Seeing that there was money to be made, he turned around and asked people to do the work. He didn't even sell the cakes and kept them for his family to eat. The other 3 people also made the same arrangements. The servants in the family dispersed to do their work. After an hour, the people who went to buy the jars came back first. There were no carts behind them with many jars. They only had 2 jars in their hands, which added up to more than 30 jars. "Master, we couldn't buy the jars. When we went to the place where the jars were sold, they were all sold out. We bought the jars from some people's homes. These jars, which usually cost about 10 copper coins, actually cost 50 copper coins. Some even cost 100 copper coins. We thought it was expensive, so we didn't buy them." After the servant came back, he carefully put the jars on the ground and reported to Lu Shaoqing. Lu Shaoqing was stunned for a moment. He looked at the jars on the ground and asked, "Then you didn't ask where the jars went? When will they have the next batch? Didn't you take a look at the place where we burn jars?" "Yes, they went to the kiln where the jars were burned. Right now, they don't allow the outside to burn jars separately. They are currently burning the Dahoagwan, no, Zhang Zhong's request, so there are no jars. The place that sells the jars also brought in the jars from there. Now that there are no more jars, it will probably be half a month before there are more. As for where the jars were sold, I also asked. They said that the young master and young lady of the Zhang family wanted to grow flowers, so they bought the jars to store soil. Why don't we go to the Zhang family and ask?" The servant replied carefully. He knew that the master's temper was not very good these days. "Bulsh *T. What kind of flowers are you raising? Why would you use a jar instead of a flower pot? They're doing this on purpose. They bought the jars on purpose. Half a month. Then there's still half a month before the shrimp paste can't be made. Quick, go and buy them. Buy them for 100 copper coins each. Otherwise, how are we going to compensate them?" Lu Shaoqing finally understood. No wonder the servants of the Zhang family came here to talk about a deal and even gave a deposit. It turned out that they were waiting for them here. Sure enough, they don't have good intentions. A jar costs 100 copper coins, and 20 strings of coins can buy 200 jars. But we have to pay for the salt first. It's not easy for the family to save some money, and we have to take it out again. Hurry up and make the jars. Otherwise, it's too late. There's still no shrimp. Chow Hurui finally knew why he felt that something was wrong. Unfortunately, it was too late to react. The people in the family bought the jars and caught the shrimps. All their energy was used on this. The jars were bought at a high price. In the evening, the people who caught the shrimps came back empty-handed. There was no boat out to sea and no net. Even if they wanted to catch the shrimps at the seaside, they would not be able to catch them even if they were exhausted. It was possible to fish for shrimps, but the problem was, how many shrimps could they catch in one night? Who would be willing to make shrimp paste with the shrimps that could be caught? The real place to catch shrimps was Qingzhou Bay, but fishing was not allowed there. It was said that the shrimps were reserved for the dolphins to eat. The 4 people were dumbfounded. The stupidest was Lu Shaoqing. He was the one who wrote the receipt. If he could not hand in the things when the time came, he would have to pay. He did not have the money to begin with, and if he had to pay again, it would be even worse. Thinking of this, Lu Shaoqing looked at the other three and said, "Think of a way. It's best to get a few boats and some nets. Otherwise, we will have to take out all the money this time." The money owed to Zhang Zhong and this receipt are two different things. Zhang Zhong's money can be paid back slowly. If this is not done well, we will have to become the servants of others. This matter needs to be considered at length. After all, Brother Lu wrote the receipt in a hurry. Otherwise, it would not be like this. We still have to catch the shrimps, but in terms of money, I can only take out 10 strings of coins to buy some salt. It should be enough for dozens of jars. Chao Hurui found that the matter was not easy to handle. His eyes flickered. He proposed to take out 10 strings of coins. This money was a lot for ordinary people, but for catching shrimps and making shrimp paste, it was still far from enough. Perhaps he knew that he was being a little disloyal. So Chao Hurui added, "I will leave the servants in my house to Brother Lu. I will think about it later. If I come up with a solution, I will tell Brother Lu." After he said that, the other two people also took out 10 strings of coins each and handed the servants in their house to Lu Shaoqing. Since they said that they would make arrangements, it was naturally Lu Shaoqing who was responsible for the meals. Lu Shaoqing looked at the faces of the three people. The expressions of the three people were very natural, and he could not see anything. Lu Shaoqing understood that they were all the same. If he were in the position of the three people, he would also do the same. But he was really bitterly disappointed. It was not good to say anything else. Lu Shaoqing nodded and said, "Thank you very much. When I make money, I will definitely not forget the three of you. At that time, everyone will be more relaxed." Well said, well said. Brother Lu, don't worry. If you don't have a boat, you can make a raft out of wood and go to the sea to catch shrimps. There are usually a lot of shrimps at night. Fan Jianqi comforted him. The other two people also agreed. They said comforting words and did comforting things. Lu Shaoqing no longer had the energy to deal with the three people. He casually said a few words and returned to his room to think of a solution. In the manner, Wang Wan looked at the jars piled up there and asked Zhang Xiaobao with a smile, "Xiaobao, there are so many jars. What are we going to do?" Wang Wan was really happy. Zhang Xiaobao could still find time to scheme against Lu Shaoqing and the other three people when he was handling the overall plan of a province. This time he only managed to scheme against one person, but things were not so simple. To make shrimp paste, the vegetables here grow quickly. The grown vegetables are directly made into pickles. When the time comes, we will send them to places with less salt and sell them at a cheaper price. There are edible vegetables and salt. I believe there will be a lot of people who will buy them. Then we will start to pick the smaller vegetables to make pickles and use shrimp paste. This is how the Jinzhou vegetables are made. To be honest, I think it is ordinary, but many people like to eat it. Just like the kimchi. I am not talking about the kimchi from Japan. It is the most authentic one from Sichuan. Many people buy it. I don't care about eating such things. I just want to find more work for the locals. The baskets that the locals use to weave the Jinzhou vegetables are not the plastic ones that will be used in the future. They are made of rattan. In such a place, there is so much shrimp paste. How can we not make good use of it? As long as a brand is formed, this place will be controlled by our Chamber of Commerce. We will be able to provide long-term work for the locals. Zhang Xiaobao had already started to arrange things in advance after his father left. To build a place, he had to provide something that could sustain the development of the place. He was not the kind of person who would leave after taking advantage and making money. He had wanted to take on some responsibilities in the past, but he did not have the time. Now that he had the opportunity, he had to take on the responsibilities of society. He could not live his life in vain. Wang Wan admired Zhang Xiaobao the most for this. A person who specialized in playing with money was willing to develop an industry. This was a great sublimation of thinking. Otherwise, with Zhang Xiaobao's ability, it would be easy for him to make money. However, without productivity, the more money he made, the more people would suffer. Wang Wan's evaluation of Zhang Xiaobao was that he was not a bad person. If she said that he was a good person, many good people would not be willing. If she said that he was a saint, she would be punished by the heavens. Xiaobao, do you have the heart of a bodhisattva? At least, that's how the people see your father. Unfortunately, they don't know that everything was done by you. I'm not a bodhisattva. Some people can run to hell and guard it. I don't have that ability. Since I'm going to hell, then I'll repent myself. My Buddha said amen. Zhang Xiaobao casually thought of a way to scheme against others. He was also very happy. There were really stupid people. When Wang Wan heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, she was happy and said, Xiaobao, you are the bodhisattva in the journey to the West. You are full of evil tricks. You made them go through so many hardships to obtain the scriptures. You even found a decent excuse to push them down the mountain and then use them. You are clearly playing with them like monkeys. I know your arrangement this time. Don't look at it as a small scheme. It's not simple at all. Dividing people and creating conflict between the four of them. This is called having ulcers on the top of your head and pus on the soles of your feet. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and said, Don't worry. Take it slow. I will make the conflicts between them grow bigger and bigger. Tomorrow, I will find someone to talk to Chao Herue about the business. You are still like a child. You always play pranks. Forget it. They deserve to be unlucky. When your father came here, they did not directly surrender. Wang Wan did not doubt Zhang Xiaobao's ability at all. Today he deceived one. Tomorrow, he would deceive another. The four people would be finished. Zhang Xiaobao had not deceived people for a long time. He took it as a relaxation. Sometimes he was addicted to deceiving people. Thinking of the four people's plan, he said, There are two more. Let them go. If they can really cause some trouble for my father, that would be great. Chapter 443. Lu Shaoqing couldn't think of any other way, so he could only send out the servants of the four families. When he sent them out, he had his servants and the servants of the other three families split into three groups. His servants' main job was to supervise the servants of the other three families. Lu Shaoqing was afraid. He was afraid that the servants of the three families would eat the food he provided and not work for him seriously, so he could only use this method. He had already thought it through. If any of the servants of the three families dared to delay and not work, then he would directly send them back the next morning. At that time, the servants who didn't work would lose a layer of skin even if they didn't die. It was just right to use this as a deterrent to the other servants. These servants added up to a total of 130 to 140 people. Each family had to leave a few to do work, so naturally, not all of them were sent out. They were divided into three groups and went to find prawns at night. Lu Shaoqing didn't listen to other people's suggestions. What was the point of making a wooden raft? Releasing a wooden raft at night. Was it looking for prawns or looking for death? During the day, who would dare to release a wooden raft into the sea? Lu Shaoqing arranged for people to be busy, but the people elsewhere were also busy. Zhang Zhong didn't go home these 2 days and had been guarding the construction site. He didn't know that his family had already made a move on Lu Shaoqing and the other three. One by one, torches were lit. The people digging the river had already been replaced by well-rested people. They worked hard there. It was easy to get sleepy working at night, but everyone wanted to take their turn at night. The main thing was that the people working here at night could drink some wine. Although it wasn't far, it was very humid. In addition to the damp soil, when digging the river, normal people couldn't bear it. After sweating, it was easy to catch a cold. Therefore, the people working at night could not only drink some wine, but the children who also took turns to deliver things didn't send water anymore. Instead, they sent soup. No matter how bad the soup was, it was better than boiling water. especially the ginger in it. It could be used as a side dish with wine. The vegetable leaves and minced meat in the soup became the favorite things of those who worked at night. It was soothing and comfortable, and they worked even harder. Originally, they should have been more efficient during the day than at night, but now they were back to work. What made some people feel regretful was that they couldn't work at night just because they wanted to. The high-intensity work of 3 shifts would not be at night the next day, but in the afternoon. "Master, are you hungry? Why don't you eat something?" While Zhang Zhong was still walking around, a person from the inner court beside him spoke up. Zhang Zhong's stomach was already growling. He stopped and said, "Then eat some, not too much, or else I will be sleepy." "Master, what do you want to eat? There are fried fish wrapped in flour and stir-fried vegetables here." The servant asked again, "What do they eat?" Zhang pointed the working people. "Others are eating pancakes." "Master, that dish is specially made for you." "Oh, then I'll eat the pancakes too. Put more chopped green onions, and less meat if it's too fatty." Zhang Zhong didn't want to eat on his own side. If that was the case, the prestige that he had built up with great difficulty would be weakened. But he didn't know that although his choice was simple, the other side had already prepared something not simple. At least, it was better than what the common people ate. The bread was cut open, and the cooked meat was chopped into half fat and half lean. Then, they put more chopped green onion and coriander and stuffed them into the bread. After making 5 in a row, they stopped and brought it to Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong didn't think too much. He took it and ate it, but after one bite he was stunned. He turned his head to look at the person who brought the bread and asked, "Xiaobao and Cuckoo are also here." "Master, how did you know?" The person asked in surprise. He was a member of the Zhang family. If it were another servant who dared to say that, he would have been beaten to death. "How do I know? The meat in the rujiamo I just ate was processed in 9 ways. There was one to remove the smell, one to make it more delicious, one to add flavor, and one to stop vomiting. There were 16 kinds of spices in it, so it tasted very light, except for Xiaobao and Cuckoo, who has the ability to make it, especially the coriander and chopped green onion. The coriander was all used in the small area in the front, the chopped green onion was white, and the few drops of oil were made with sesame oil to make the pepper. You can't find another place in the Tang Empire that can make it. Why aren't you 2 sleeping yet?" As soon as Zhang Zhong tasted it, he found that the taste was not right. It was too familiar. It was exactly the kind of food that he liked very much. The choice of ingredients was very particular, and it was even more difficult to make it. He had never tasted this taste anywhere else. His son and daughter-in-law were carefree and never told others how to cook it. They couldn't eat it in the restaurant between the clouds and the water in Sanshui County, so they could only eat it at home. A little bit of heat and seasoning would change the taste. Not to mention that other people didn't have the chance to taste it. Even if they did, they couldn't learn it. This simple rujiamo required 2 people to make at the same time, each with their own division of labor. The servant didn't dare to lie anymore. He said with a smile, "Master, you're really amazing." You can tell that this was made by the young master and the young lady at one bite. They deliberately made the bread more alkaline. Master likes to eat this kind of food the most. That's why the young lady and the young master can be so meticulous. "Master, here's a salted goose egg." The young master said that if you taste it, he should give it to you. The young master also said that you can tell who made this rujiamo after one bite and ask, "Master, here you are. I've already opened it." As the servant spoke, he handed a salted goose egg that had been deliberately marinated and smelled bad to Zhang Zhong. It didn't smell good, but Zhang Zhong liked to eat it. Even Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan could make an egg that was not salty and oily, not to mention a stinky salted egg. Zhang Zhong didn't want to give himself special treatment. The menu was fixed every day, and he couldn't eat like that when he came here. But when he saw what his son and daughter-in-law had prepared for him, he couldn't refuse. There happened to be a person who had just been pulled up from the river. He was eating a roll and drinking a mouthful of wine. Zhang Zhong went over and said to him, "My son and daughter-in-law prepared something for me. The two kids are good at it. Have a taste." The servant was very reluctant to hand over a rujiamo, but when he saw that person take it with trembling hands, he could only pretend that nothing had happened. He knew that the young master and the young lady didn't cook casually, and only cooked for some important people or family members. However, as long as it was something made by the two little brats, the taste would definitely be different from what they usually ate. Everyone in the inner courtyard like them had eaten it before, but the most they had eaten was 3 times, and the least they had eaten was 1 time. Who wouldn't feel distressed when they saw such a good thing being given to an ordinary person by the master? Everyone in the inner courtyard knew that when it came to cooking, the food made by the young master and the young lady was the most delicious. No matter how good the chef between the clouds and the water was, the food made was the same. The servant didn't stand on ceremony. He took the rujiamo with a smile and said to Zhang Zhong, "Great official, I'm willing to eat the food made by my children, no matter how bad it is. Let me try it." He. "Great official, this is the most expensive thing in the capital, right? Why does it taste better than what I ate when I went to celebrate County Magistrate Zhang's birthday?" The servant only took 1 bite to find the difference. He had eaten many rolls, and they tasted good. Compared to the meat in the rujiamo, it was much worse. The meat in the rujiamo was fat but not greasy, thin but not dry. It was so fragrant that he couldn't wait to eat it every day. Of course, the young master and the young lady are very capable. If the master can't eat it, it's mine. You snatched it, and you still have the nerve to praise it? What capital? You can't eat this kind of thing in the capital. It's very particular when it's made, and you can't buy it with money. Can the food made by the young master and the young lady be measured by money? The servant in the inner courtyard could only think about this in his heart, and didn't dare to say it out loud. If he really said it out loud, he would be demoted from a 3-star chore to a 1-star chore. Zhang Zhong didn't know that the servant in the inner courtyard had so many thoughts. He waited for the rest of the rujiamo to be praised. He laughed happily and handed another rujiamo to the servant in the inner courtyard, who was reluctant to part with it. "Eat more if it's delicious. I made 5 in total. 2 for you, 3 for me, 1 more than you. I can't help it. If Xiao Bao and Cuckoo know that I eat less, they won't be happy." The eyes of the commoners who were working lit up, and they took the food without any hesitation. The one who had taken a bite began to eat vigorously, smacking his lips as he ate. The people in the inner courtyard could only pretend that they did not hear anything. When the servant finished 1 rujiamo, he handed the other one to the servant in the inner courtyard and said, "Lord Zhang is really extraordinary. When I took the rujiamo, I deliberately touched your hand with my dirty hand, but you didn't have any reaction at all. You seem to be very normal. Your servant in the inner courtyard also wanted to eat, but he let me have it without saying anything. You have the final say in the whole Luzhou. The master of the main family is amiable, and the servants in the inner courtyard strictly follow the rules. No wonder the master kept praising Lord Zhang before we came out. Lord Zhang really cares about the people, and his servants are great too. They won't make trouble for the master." When Zhang Zhong heard this, he understood many things. This servant shouldn't be a local. Then how did he come here? The servant in the inner courtyard didn't take the rujiamo, but he was not that greedy. When he heard the servant's words, he leaned over to the master and whispered a few words. Zhang Zhong understood now. He nodded with a smile and said, "You are the servant sent here by old Master Zhang, the second steward of Zhang Jiling? Good, a steward can do this kind of work. Zhang Jiling's family is not bad at all. Maybe in the future, you can be a minister of His Majesty. Go back and tell your master that the road is expensive, and you don't have enough money. Just let me know, and I will send the money immediately. In half a month, my family's fleet in the capital will come here, and there will be another 30,000 to 40,000 strings of coins. You can take out another 10,000 strings of coins and continue to send them. If you have a chance to make a better life for the people in your hometown, don't miss it." You don't have so many chances in life. That you're tuning in to the Echo Reads YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.